Thanks for staying tuned. We're getting now news break from J&K where a high terror alert has been sounded in Rajouri and Poonch, where the DIG has also informed that security of vital security installations has been beefed up in wake of the 2 to 3 splinter terror groups that are operating in Pir Panjal. That's the news break coming in. The alert that has been sounded in J&K's Rajouri and Poonch district. The DIG has also informed about the same, saying that security has been beefed up at vital secure locations in wake of the 2 to 3 splinter terror groups that are operating in Pir Panjal. Let's listen into that soundbite as well of the DIG of the area.
बिल्कुल इस इंसिडेंट के बाद, क्योंकि इस इंसिडेंट से पहले ही पुलिस और एजेंसीज़ के पास खबर तो थी मूवमेंट की, चूँकि आप जानते हैं कि अभी जो बरसात का मौसम है इसमें काफ़ी वाइल्ड ग्रोथ और बाकी वेजिटेशन और मक्खी वगैरह का सीज़न होता है, जिसकी वजह से एक नेचुरल कैमोफ्लेज किसी भी एंटी नेशनल एलिमेंट को या इस तरह के एलिमेंट को मिलता है। इस इंसिडेंट के बाद सिक्योरिटी सभी जितने भी सिक्योरिटी कैंप्स हैं उनकी हाइटन की गई है, उनको अलर्ट किया गया है और ये 2 से 3 छोटे छोटे स्प्लिंटर ग्रुप्स जो अभी पीर पंचाल के इलाके में हमारे रडार में हैं और जिनको रेगुलरली हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं, और जिसका आपने खुद ही जिक्र किया है कि एक कांटेक्ट भी हुआ, लेकिन मौसम उस दिन काफ़ी ख़राब होने की वजह से, बारिश थी और अंधेरा था और जंगल की वजह से हम उनको ट्रैक नहीं कर पाए, लेकिन हम उनकी मूवमेंट्स को फॉलो कर रहे हैं और जल्द ही हमें लगता है हम उनको न्यूट्रलाइज कर पाएंगे।
So that's the news break coming in from J&K, where an alert has been sounded in Rajouri and Poonch after we are told that the security has also been beefed up as 2 to 3 terror groups are active in this area. We understand that 2 to 3 splinter terror groups are operating in Pir Panjal area, and security meanwhile has been heightened. Roundup of news in brief. In a mega crackdown on illegal madrasas in UP, the state government has instructed all the district magistrates of the state to carry out a survey listing all illegal madrasas and submit a report by 10th of September. UP government will be conducting survey of unrecognized madrasas in the state to gather information about number of teachers, curriculum and basic facilities available in these madrasas. Coming down heavily on the UP government's move to conduct survey of unrecognized madrasas, the AIMIM chief called it a mini NRC, accusing the Yogi-led government of harassing Muslims and asserted that anyone has a right to open a madrasa as per Article 30 of the Constitution.
ये प्राइवेट मदरसे हैं जो भारत के संविधान के आर्टिकल 30 के तहत मुझे खोलने का पूरा इख्तियार हासिल है। आप उसमें इंटरफेयर नहीं हो सकते, आपको कोई राइट नहीं सरकार को इंटरफेयर करने का। उसमें आप क्यों करेंगे? क्या पैसे ले रहे, क्या आपसे कुछ ले रहे कर रहे? ये हम मदरसा हमारा है। अब ये छोटा एनआरसी है, मैं तो कहूँगा ये।
Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde met MNS Chief Raj Thackeray during the ongoing Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations in Maharashtra. The meeting has given rise to speculations that the Shinde-led Shiv Sena faction and the BJP are looking for an alliance with the Raj Thackeray-led party in view of the upcoming PMC elections. In a shocking incident coming to light, a BJP leader identified as Sukhbir Khatana was shot dead by 4 to 5 unknown assailants in broad daylight in Gurugram. As per sources, he had gone to a nearby shop where he was shot at. The BJP leader was a chairman of the market committee in the local BJP unit, was reportedly preparing in fact, the local BJP unit was reportedly preparing to fight Zilla Parishad elections from Sona. The post-mortem report of Ankita, who was burnt to death in Jharkhand's Dumka set, is out and has been sent to Dumka police. The post-mortem of Ankita's body was done in RIMS Forensic Medicine and Toxicology Department in Ranchi. It has been clarified in the report that Ankita was burnt with highly flammable substances. And on to more news. Haridwar hate speech accused Jitendra Narayan Tyagi has said he will surrender before a Haryana court today. Before Haridwar court today, in which in a video that surfaced, video that his life is in danger and that he may be killed in a suicide attack is what he had claimed.
The Haridwar hate speech accused Jitendra Narayan Tyagi has said he will surrender in a Haridwar court today. Earlier, in a video, he claimed that his life is in danger and he may be killed in a suicide attack. Tyagi, called Wasim Rizvi before his conversion to Hinduism, was granted an interim bail for 3 months on medical grounds in the Dharam Sansad case by the Supreme Court on the 17th of May. The Apex Court turned down his application for the extension of his bail earlier on Monday and asked him to surrender on the 2nd of September. Tyagi was the first to be arrested in January this year in connection with the Haridwar Dharam Sansad, where highly provocative speeches were allegedly made against other religions. The Dharam Sansad was held in December last year. His name is among 10 accused, including the controversial priest of the Dasna temple near Ghaziabad, Yati Narsinganand. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And newsbreak coming in, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, who came down heavily on Telangana's TRS government for raising debts beyond the FRBS limits and claimed that every child born in the state carries 1.25 lakh debt burden. She also said because in fact, Telangana's revenue surplus budget had slipped to a revenue deficit budget and that the KCR has no right to question the central government. These were the remarks that were made by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, lashing out at the Telangana government with regard to its debt burden. Let's also listen into that soundbite of Nirmala Sitharaman.
చాలా విషయాలు జోడించి నేను చెప్తున్నా, అందువల్ల చెప్తున్నా స్టేట్ మీద దృష్టి పెట్టి స్టేట్ బాగుపడడానికి చేయాల్సిన పని పోయి ఒక ఫాల్స్ నేషనల్ లెవెల్ కన్సెన్సస్ నేనే వచ్చాను బాబు అని ఊరా దేశం అంతా తిరిగి మీరు చూసారు బీహార్లో ఎలా ఉంది వెల్కమ్. అక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్ అక్కడ కూర్చోవడం పోయి నిలబడి అయ్యా చాలు ఆపండి వెళ్దాం అని చెప్పే అంత పరిస్థితికి వచ్చింది. నేను తెలంగాణ ప్రజల కోసం నేను చెయ్యి ఇలా నమస్కారం పెట్టి అడుగుతున్నాను. స్టేట్ని కొంచెం జాగ్రత్తగా గమనించుకోండి. ప్రజల కోసం నేను చేయాల్సిన అన్ని పని చెయ్యండి. కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం తీసుకొచ్చిన ప్రతి పథకం కూడా ప్రజలకి అందుబాటులో రావాలనే కోసం మేము పూర్వం కష్టపడుతూ ఉంటాం. సరిగా పోతుందా అని అడుగుతూ ఉంటాం. దానికి ఓపికగా జవాబు చెప్పాల్సిన బాధ్యత మీ మీద ఉంది. చిరాకు పడి నిష్ఠూరంగా లేకపోతే దిగజారుల మాటలతోటి ఆపోజిషన్ మాట్లాడటానికి ప్రశ్న అడిగే పద్ధతి మంచి పద్ధతి కాదు. మీరు అడగడానికి హక్కు లేదు, మీరెవరు అనే ధ్వనిలో మాట్లాడటం కూడా తప్పు. ఫెడరలిజంలో ఏదైనా కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం ప్రశ్న అడగడానికి అధికారం ఉందో అంతకంటే ఎక్కువ అధికారం ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రజలు, విపక్షాల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి పార్టీస్ అడగడానికి డెఫినెట్ గా వాళ్ళకి హక్కు ఉంది, అడుగుతారు. దానికి బాధ్యత మీ మీద ఉంది జవాబు చెప్పడానికి.
So Nirmala Sitharaman there hitting out at KCR, saying that Nitish Kumar insulted the Telangana Chief Minister when the duo had met and had even attended a function together. So the Finance Minister there hitting out at Chief Minister KCR. Well, we'll slip into a very short break. On the other side, world this morning coming up. Lots on the other side as UK's outgoing Prime Minister gives his final speech, looks forward to nuclear energy amid energy crisis. Australia and France hold bilateral meet focus on improving defence ties.
सच हमने दिखाया, सच आपने देखा, हमारी पहचान उम्मीदों की रेखा, आपके भरोसे से हमारे काम का लेखा, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन। आप पहचानते हैं, जानते हैं हमें, तभी तो अपना मानते हैं हमें। आर भारत के साथ भारत का समय, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
It's a breaking update that the anticipatory bail hearing will be done only tomorrow because there is a due process that needs to be completed. We can see a large number of Dalits have now gathered outside the Deputy Commissioner's office in Chitradurga demanding that justice be delivered. A majority of them are women and they are demanding that the politicians in the state speak out. Despite having the POXO case registered, it's been over 6 days. No arrest has been made. They are also saying they demand that the Seer must be arrested and he must step down from the responsibility and face the law.
चुनौतियों से नहीं डरते हम, दुनिया ने देखा है हमारा दम, दुश्मनों को करके बेदम, राष्ट्रहित में बढ़ते कदम। राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
If there is a crime which is increasing in my constituency, I don't control police. I have to come to the leadership to talk about law and order. So I have come here.
Today's protest by the Aam Aadmi Party leadership was on the deteriorating law and order situation in the capital.
उन्नति का पथ, उम्मीदों का रथ, सत्य की शपथ, हम हैं रिपब्लिक भारत। राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
There's an old saying in the Navy that ships don't die, they just fade away only to be reborn again. INS Vikrant, the largest indigenous aircraft carrier ever built by the country, where India has joined a league of few nations which has made this feat. On September 2nd, INS Vikrant will be commissioned into the Indian Navy.
The UK's outgoing Prime Minister gives his final speech, looks to nuclear energy amid energy crisis. Australia and France hold bilateral meet to focus on improving defence ties. Four killed after militant factions amid a political crisis in Iraq engage in armed conflict with each other. Police in Pakistan filed terror charges against former Prime Minister Imran Khan as he battles other cases. NASA postpones Artemis mission as it faces engine troubles at the first launch, thereby keeping its crew's safety in mind. Hello and welcome. You're watching all the top stories making headlines across the globe and world this morning on Republic. I'm Rukma, and in our top story, United Kingdom's outgoing Prime Minister Boris Johnson gave his final speech. He pledged $810 million for a new nuclear plant to secure energy resources of the UK. This comes as the energy costs in the United Kingdom have risen by 80% amid the Russia-Ukraine war. Here's more.
Britain's outgoing Prime Minister Boris Johnson pledged $810 million of government funding for a planned new nuclear power plant. This comes as a part of a drive to improve the UK's energy security.
That's why we need to pull our national finger out and get on with Sizewell C. That's why we're putting £700 million into the deal, just part of the £1.7 billion of government funding available for developing a large-scale nuclear project to final investment stage FID in this Parliament.
The plant called Sizewell is located on eastern England's Suffolk coast. French energy company EDF, which will partly fund the project, said it can generate low-carbon electricity for at least 60 years when the project is complete. The plant will reportedly cost about $23 billion.
Nuclear always looks, when you begin, it always looks relatively expensive to build and to run. But it is, look at what's happening today. Look at the results of Putin's war. It is certainly cheap.
Many in Britain are looking to Johnson's successor to announce urgent measures to help ease the financial pain. As household energy prices goes up by 80% from October, Boris Johnson will formally leave office on Tuesday. He will hand over the power to either Foreign Secretary Liz Truss or former Treasury Chief Rishi Sunak, the two finalists in the Conservative Party's leadership race. Agency Report, Republic TV.
Deputy Prime Minister of Australia and Minister for Defence Richard Marles, as well as French Defence Minister Sébastien Lecornu, attended a commemoration at the involvement of the Australian armies in World War I in the monument for the same in northern France. Here's a detailed report.
Deputy Prime Minister of Australia and Minister for Defence Richard Marles and French Defence Minister attended a commemoration of Australian armies in WWI monument in northern France. More than 10,000 soldiers from Australia and New Zealand were killed during World War I. Australia and France are strengthening their defence cooperation and deepening their diplomatic ties.
This is a sacred place for Australians. More Australians have lost their lives on French soil than anywhere else in the world in combat. And more Australians are at rest, having lost their lives in combat here than anywhere else in the world. This place reminds us of how close and personal is the connection between Australia and France. And on a very productive day with my friend and counterpart, Minister Sébastien Lecornu, the Minister for Defence, we wanted to finish it here as a statement about how close our two countries are.
The two countries seek to heal wounds from last year's diplomatic breakdown over a secret submarine contract that infuriated France. With war raging in Ukraine and an increasingly ambitious China, Australia's Deputy Prime Minister said that it is important that their nation's relationship moves forward with frankness, respect and honesty. Agency Report, Republic TV.
The political rivalry in Iraq took a massive turn as violent clashes erupted overnight in the capital Baghdad. The clash left 4 militants from the rival groups dead and injured 12. While the calm for now has been restored, threats of more clashes continue to loom over the public. Take a look. A small amount of heavy fuel oil leaked from a bulk carrier ship, which was stranded since colliding with another ship near the Bay of Gibraltar. Captain of the Gibraltar port has said the leak is now fully under control. Here's how it all panned out.
A small amount of heavy fuel oil leaked from a bulk carrier ship which has been stranded since colliding with another ship on the Bay of Gibraltar. The captain of the Gibraltar port said the leak is fully under control. Authorities announced one person had been arrested in connection with the incident but gave no further information. The Port Authority said a small amount of oil escaped the perimeter of a boom placed to contain any spill. A second barrier was to be deployed to prevent the spill from spreading. Footage and photos of the stricken ship show a small slick of the outside of the boom. The oil is being collected by 2 vessels from Gibraltar Port Authority and Spanish Maritime Rescue. The environmental impact of the spill was not immediately clear. Divers sent to the ship have already sealed the source of the leak, that is 2 vents in the fuel tanks. The extraction is set to last about 50 hours. The usually busy Gibraltar port remains closed, while neighboring Algeria's port is fully operational. Agency report, Republic TV.
In other international news, Russia continues to accuse Ukraine of targeting the territory of the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, with the IAEA mission already at the scene. A Russian spokesman has claimed that 2 Ukrainian raiding parties, up to 60 men in total, landed off 7 speedboats on the banks of the Kakhovka reservoir, 3 kilometers northwest of the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. French President Emmanuel Macron on Thursday pledged to keep up France's humanitarian, economic and military support to Ukraine and to bolster European unity as a way to pile up pressure on Russia and prevent it from winning its war in that country. Officials in Pakistan raised concerns over the spread of waterborne diseases among thousands of flood victims as waters from powerful monsoon rains began to recede in many parts of the country. Massive devastation has been seen in the Sindh region in particular. A Pakistani court extended former Prime Minister Imran Khan's protection from arrest until September 12, more than a week after police filed terror charges against the country's popular opposition leader. The latest development is considered another reprieve for Khan, as the court order effectively shields him from arrest over accusations that during his speech at a rally last month, he threatened police and a female judge. The governor of Arizona in America met with Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen in Taipei to discuss economic and educational cooperation. President Tsai said Taiwan is seeking to bolster cooperation with the US in the semiconductor and other high-tech industry sector. And coming up after a very short break, police in Pakistan have filed terror charges against former Prime Minister Imran Khan as he battles other cases against him. Also coming up, NASA postpones its Artemis mission as it faces engine troubles at the first launch, thereby keeping its crew's safety in mind.
Amity University in London, accredited by Quality Assurance Agency UK and licensed by the Government of UK, offers MBA and BBA degrees at its central London campus. Embark on a global career with a globally recognized UK university degree. To apply, visit amity.edu/London.
This is a clash that is happening. Protesters are trying to stop the vehicle of the DC over here, and this could probably lead to some kind of a tense situation. There is a large protest that is happening. Now we can see that the police is trying to move the protesters from in front of the vehicle of the DC, and they are demanding justice.
BJP workers are protesting. Now BJP is not only demanding answers from Aam Aadmi Party government on the issue of excise policy, on the issue of construction of classroom, but also they are demanding resignations of Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain. All the MLAs of BJP have now been suspended from the Delhi Vidhan Sabha Assembly for the entire day.
सच हमने दिखाया, सच आपने देखा, हमारी पहचान उम्मीदों की रेखा, आपके भरोसे से हमारे काम का लेखा, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन। आप पहचानते हैं, जानते हैं हमें, तभी तो अपना मानते हैं हमें। आर भारत के साथ भारत का समय, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
This is a breaking update that the anticipatory bail hearing will be done only tomorrow because there is a due process that needs to be completed. We can see a large number of Dalits have now gathered outside the Deputy Commissioner's office in Chitradurga demanding that justice be delivered. A majority of them are women and they are demanding that the politicians in the state speak out. Despite having the POXO case registered, it's been over 6 days, no arrest has been made. They are also saying they demand that the Seer must be arrested and he must step down from the responsibility and face the law.
Welcome back. You're watching World This Morning on Republic. And news now from Pakistan. As we were telling you, a Pakistani court has extended former Prime Minister Imran Khan's protection from arrest until the 12th of September. More than a week after police filed terror charges against the country's popular opposition leader. Here's more.
A Pakistani court extended former Prime Minister Imran Khan's protection from arrest till the 12th of September, more than a week after the police filed terrorism charges against the country's popular opposition leader. The latest development is considered another reprieve for Imran Khan, as the court order effectively shields him from arrest over accusations that during his speech at a rally last month, he threatened the police and a female judge.
Because of this malafide and an act of with ulterior considerations, they have added some few more sections therein. The next date has been fixed for the final arguments.
In Pakistan, terrorism charges can be levied against anyone accused of threatening a government official or Pakistan's military and security institutions. According to a police report, Imran Khan in his speech had criticized the Inspector General of Islamabad Police and a judge. The government at the time responded by filing terrorism charges against Imran Khan, who was ousted through no confidence in the parliament in April. Imran Khan faces 2 other cases against him, and in both the cases, he has been granted bail.
Islamabad High Court has issued notices to the state where this FIR has been challenged by our legal team, saying that it is not at all a case of terrorism, which in fact this would be the first ever FIR registered against any person, what to call of the former Prime Minister, any person under these sections.
Imran Khan came to power in 2018 and he lost the majority in the parliament in April. But since then, he has alleged that he was ousted under a US plot, a charge Washington denies. Agency report, Republic TV.
Crew safety is at the center of NASA's first launch of its Artemis program. The space agency wants to push the Orion spacecraft to its limits and uncover any problems before astronauts strap in. NASA will try again on Saturday to launch its new moon rocket on a test flight. Here are the details.
Crew safety is at the center of the NASA's first launch of the Artemis program. The space agency wants to push the Orion spacecraft to its limits and uncover any problems before astronauts strap in. NASA will try again Saturday to launch its new moon on a test flight.
Artemis 1 mission is very important to Orion for crew safety because it represents really the culmination of years and years of effort by multiple teams to illustrate what it would be like for humans to be in that capsule going through the mission phases. It's important to integrate all the systems because individually we develop, we design, we test, we analyze to make sure that all the parts of the vehicle can withstand the environments, but you need to run a flight test without crew first to fully appreciate and understand, quantify, characterize those environments before you expose humans in this type of a mission.
The first attempt on Monday was thwarted by engine trouble. Managers said that they are changing fueling procedures to deal with issue.
Deep space presents a number of challenges to human safety. It goes outside of the safety of our low Earth orbit and our atmosphere, which means not only do you have to sustain the vibration and acceleration of exiting Earth's atmosphere, but then you have to deal with things like radiation through the Van Allen belts and through deep space, all to return and come back into Earth's atmosphere again, go through yet another series of accelerations and vibrations, and eventually egress the vehicle and get to safety on a recovery ship.
The 322-foot rocket remains on the pad at Florida's Kennedy Space Center with an empty crew capsule on top. The Space Launch System rocket, the most powerful ever built by NASA, will attempt to send the capsule around the moon and back. No one will be aboard, just 3 test dummies. If successful, it will be the first capsule to fly to the moon since NASA's Apollo program 50 years ago. Agency Report, Republic TV.
In the midst of soaring summer temperatures, children are getting ready to head back to school. Meanwhile, Potterheads are heading back to Hogwarts. The Harry Potter fans boarded the express train to begin the new academic year at the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Take a look at our next report to find out more.
While the summer is over and it's time to go back to school, the wizarding world of Harry Potter with its dazzling spell, nifty gadgets and magical creatures is back just in time to celebrate the iconic Back to Hogwarts Day.
At the time. Action! That was good! That was very good!
The Potterheads return to the platform 9 3/4 for the event. As the Potterhead marked the beginning of a new year at the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry after 2 years of COVID, the express train reached the station platform 9 3/4 and thus began the live countdown. A performance from the cast of The Cursed Child kept the Potterheads from taking out their wands and locking in their spells. While a special wand training session from Paul Harris and wand choreographer of the Harry Potter film graced the event. Back to Hogwarts Day will return in King's Cross Station from Thursday 1st of September to Sunday 4th of September. Agency Report, Republic TV.
And on to some sports news now. The FIFA World Cup trophy was showcased in the Iranian capital yesterday. The event was attended by former Iranian national team stars and many celebrities. Here's more.
The FIFA's World Cup trophy was showcased in the Iranian capital. The event was attended by former Iranian national team stars. Ahmad Reza, who captained Iran at the 1998 World Cup in France, unveiled the trophy.
انشالله از گروهمون صعود کنیم. کار بسیار دشواری است ولی عملی است برای کشور ما، جوانان ما، عزیزان ما. این کار حتما عملی است. انشالله که این اتفاق بیفته.
For the first time ever, FIFA is displaying the trophy in all 32 countries that have qualified for this year's tournament in Qatar, which starts in November. Iranian male and female footballers had the chance to see the sport's biggest prize up close and take photos with it.
ما خوشبختانه جز اون کشورهایی هستیم که جام جهانی هستیم و برای 5مین بار به جام جهانی میریم. 1 بار قبل از انقلاب رفتیم و 4 بار هم بعد از انقلاب اسلامی. در دوره قبل ما درخشانترین نتیجه تاریخ فوتبال خودمون رو در جام جهانی گرفتیم.
Iran is in Group B with England, the United States and Wales and will start their campaign against England on November 21st. Iran has qualified for the 3rd time in a row. It will be Iran's 6th appearance at the World Cup. Agency Report, Republic TV.
World number one Iga Swiatek eased past 2017 US Open champion Sloane Stephens in straight sets in 1 hour and 15 minutes to face Lawrence Davis in the third round of the US Open. Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag says his players still have to construct a winning culture despite their third successive Premier League victory as they beat Leicester City 1-0 on Thursday.
Yeah, we have to construct the right winning culture. And that is also a process, and that is not, you cannot take 1 point like the Brentford. It's a strategy, and it's a routine, it's a way of life, so daily based. And what we have to bring to Carrington, the players, but also the coaches, the managers, everyone in the club, high standards.
Hector Bellerin has re-signed for Barcelona on a free transfer from Arsenal. The deal also includes a substantial sell-on clause for the Londoners if the 27-year-old leaves the camp. The Spanish defender has signed a one-year deal with the Catalan club. Sergiño Dest completes his loan move to AC Milan from Barcelona. The Serie A club have an option to buy the 21-year-old American right back at the end of the season. Earlier in the week, some reports had linked him with a move to Manchester United. On Thursday. And coming up in the Morning Express, after sustained Republic campaign, rape-accused Karnataka Seer Shivamurthy arrested and packed in 14 days judicial custody. Also coming up, Prime Minister Modi to commission first indigenously designed and built aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant, today.
चुनौतियों से नहीं डरते हम, दुनिया ने देखा है हमारा दम, दुश्मनों को करके बेदम, राष्ट्र हित में बढ़ते कदम, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
If there is a crime which is increasing in my constituency, I don't control police. I have to come to the leadership to talk about law and order. So I have come here.
Today's protest by the Aam Aadmi Party leadership was on the deteriorating law and order situation in the capital.
उन्नति का पथ, उम्मीदों का रथ, सत्य की शपथ, हम हैं रिपब्लिक भारत, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
This is a clash that is happening. Protesters are trying to stop the vehicle of the DC over here, and this could probably lead to some kind of a tense situation. There is a large protest that is happening. Now we can see that the police is trying to move the protesters from in front of the vehicle of the DC, and they are demanding justice. BJP workers are protesting. Now BJP is not only demanding answers from Aam Aadmi Party government on the issue of excise policy, on the issue of construction of classroom, but also they are demanding resignations of Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain. All the MLAs of BJP have now been suspended from the Delhi Vidhan Sabha Assembly for the entire day.
सच हमने दिखाया।
There's an old saying in the Navy that ships don't die, they just fade away only to be reborn again. INS Vikrant, the largest indigenous aircraft carrier ever built by the country, where India has joined a league of few nations which has made this feat. On September 2nd, INS Vikrant will be commissioned into the Indian Navy.
It is a mega Republic TV campaign impact. Rape accused Karnataka Seer Shivamurthy is arrested and remanded to 14 days of judicial custody. Prime Minister Modi is to commission the first indigenously designed and built aircraft carrier, the INS Vikrant, today. Finance Minister lashes out at KCR over Nitish Kumar meet, says the focus on development of Telangana first. It's Baichung Bhutia versus Kalyan Chaubey. Sports body the AIFF braces to elect its president. Abhishek Banerjee likely to appear before the ED today in the coal smuggling case. Good morning and welcome. You are watching the Morning Express on Republic TV. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. The top Karnataka Seer accused of sexual abuse, Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanaru, has finally been arrested by the Karnataka police. While Republic TV has learned that he will likely be produced before the district magistrate today, here are all the late night updates on the arrest.
After a 150-hour relentless campaign by Republic, after continuous demands of action over the allegations against Muruga Matsya Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanaru,
if there is a lookout notice for this 64-year-old and he's sitting comfortably in his palace a few kilometers from Bengaluru, and the police are too meek and the police are too scared to even question him, and even unfortunately the courts are not acting suo moto in this case, then I say tonight, if nobody else will, then I will stick my neck out tonight and say, we have a problem in this country. We have a real problem. We have a real problem, ladies and gentlemen, and Republic will question that problem. And it's time for you to question it too.
After this explosive interview with a former JDS MLA,
ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕಷ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ನಾನು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಬಂದು ಅವ್ರ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಓವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದ್ರ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ, ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದ್ರ ಹೇಗೆ ಬಸವರಾಜ್ ಅವರೇ, ಅವ್ರು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬಂದ್ರ, ಅವರು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನೇ ಹೋಗಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ.
ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು
ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ
ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
ಅವರು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕಿರುಕುಳ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಭಯ ಆಯಿತು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿದ್ವಿ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ನಾವು ವಾಪಸ್ ಮಠಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಆದರೆ ಅದು ಕಾನೂನು ಪ್ರಕಾರ ತಪ್ಪಾಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಅವರ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರು. 2 days ಇದ್ದರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಅವ್ರ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕರೆದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಓವರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ.
ಈ ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರ ಮಕ್ಕಳು? ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ? ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ಏನು ಕತೆ? ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಅಬ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು ನಮ್ಮ ದರ್ಶಕರಿಗೆ? ಏನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇಬ್ಬರು ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು?
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕಿರುಕುಳ ಇದೆ, ನಾವು ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಭಯ ಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಕೈಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದರು.
The rape accused pontiff at the Muruga Mutt, Seer Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanaru by name, has finally been arrested.
We are showing the visuals of the seer, the accused seer who has been taken into custody right now. These are the official visuals that are coming. The only channel, the only national channel to get these visuals. As you can see, the one side has been covered. There has been a cordon of police. More than 50 policemen are over here. And now these are the visuals, as you can see.
The arrest by the Karnataka police came moments after Republic, for the 4th consecutive day, questioned the shocking political support given to the seer, who remained free despite the grievous allegations in the FIR against him. The 64-year-old Seer was accused under the POCSO Act of raping 2 minor girls. After being booked, the accused Seer held a briefing where he blatantly played down the charges against him as conspiracy. And the political support for the Seer following the heinous charges against him was even more shocking.
It's the second time I'm meeting him because from childhood I'm coming to this man and some allegations are there, and I have also met Swamiji, Chief Minister Basuraj Bommai ji, already assured the people of Karnataka in through your media, nobody will interfere in this matter. Even government will not interfere in this matter. Fair enquiry will be conducted.
Shivamurthy was arrested at around 11:40 p.m. after a police team questioned him inside Chitradurga Mutt since 7:45 p.m. on Thursday. The Seer was shifted back to the Chitradurga Mutt shortly after the arrest. And while Republic tracked the accused, it is also learnt that he will likely be produced before the district magistrate today. The arrest is not just a big win for the Republic campaign, but also a befitting response to those who supported the powerful over the vulnerable. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, the influential Lingayat seer Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanuru was arrested by the Karnataka police 6 days after the first FIR was filed. However, a big claim by the former JDS MLA has now raised questions over how the seer was possibly being shielded.
For 6 days, Republic Media Network has been at the forefront demanding action in the Chitradurga Seer rape scandal.
If there is a lookout notice for this 64-year-old and he's sitting comfortably in his palace a few kilometers from Bengaluru, and the police are too meek and the police are too scared to even question him, and even unfortunately the courts are not acting suo moto in this case, then I say tonight, if nobody else will, then I will stick my neck out tonight and say, we have a problem in this country. We have a real problem. We have a real problem, ladies and gentlemen, and Republic will question that problem. And it's time for you to question it too.
Republic Media Network has been reporting live from Chitradurga, where politicians were queuing up to meet the rape-accused Seer, even as no action was being taken against him.
Protests are rising across different quarters such as these at Chitradurga after the police has shown laxity in the way the investigation is going on. Despite that a complaint has been made for last 4 days, no arrest has been made so far. Now protests are rising in different quarters in the district of Chitradurga and also outside the Muruga Mutt in Chitradurga.
But 150 hours after the FIR was registered, the Seer, facing charges under the POCSO Act, was arrested by the Karnataka police.
We are showing the visuals of the seer, the accused seer who has been taken into custody right now. These are the official visuals that are coming. The only channel, the only national channel to get these visuals. As you can see, the one side has been covered. There has been a cordon of police. More than 50 policemen are over here. And now these are the visuals that you can see.
But a former JDS MLA's claims have raised some serious questions over the delayed action against the Seer.
ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅವರು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಬಂದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ ಅವರು ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಗೆ
ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಪೊಲೀಸರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು
ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಮೊದಲು ಮಠಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರು ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದರು ನಾನು ಹೋಗಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಬಂದೆ
ಅಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಬಿಗ್ ಬಸವರಾಜ್ ಅವರೇ Mr. Basavaraj is saying the police called him to help the girls. Basavaraj ಅವರೇ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಹೇಳೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಮಠಕ್ಕೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಮಠ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು
ಹೌದೌದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೌದು
The former JDS MLA's claims have raised big questions on a deliberate go-slow approach in the investigation and an attempt to protect the Seer. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, in yet another sensational development, Republic TV has accessed documents revealing that Sonali Phogat's personal assistant Sudhir Sangwan had prepared documents of Phogat's farmhouse in Hisar. Now, Sangwan reportedly wanted to take the farmhouse on lease and an agreement was prepared accordingly. As per reports, Sangwan made an agreement and was ready to pay a rent of about 60,000 rupees annually. But according to sources, the land is worth close to about 40 crore rupees. All right, before we play out that report for you, we are going to cut across and get you visuals from Panchkula, where a massive fire has broken out at the Redi market in Sector 9 late last night. So we're cutting across to those visuals that we are getting for you right now. We're given to understand that this was a fire that broke out late last night in the Redi market in Panchkula. This took place in Sector 9. You can, of course, see smoke bellowing out of what appears to be quite an intense fire that broke out last night at Panchkula Sector 9. Fire tenders were placed into action, and we're going to understand that swift action was taken by emergency services who were deployed in large numbers to try and contain this massive blaze. It does appear to be quite a huge blaze that went on late last night in Chandigarh and Panchkula in the Sector 9 area. We're still trying to ascertain details of whether anybody was injured in this.
अभी मुझे ये जानकारी मिली कि पंचकुला सेक्टर 9 की रेडी मार्केट के अंदर भयंकर आग लगने से मार्केट पूरी तरह तबाह हो गई। इसका मुझे गहरा दुख है। इस आग के कारण सैकड़ों परिवारों के ऊपर रोजी रोटी का संकट आन खड़ा हुआ है। इस दुख की घड़ी में मैं इन परिवारों के साथ और हमारी सरकार इन सभी परिवारों की सहायता देने का पूरा प्रयास करेगी। आज मैंने सभी अधिकारियों को, पंचकुला प्रशासन के सभी अधिकारियों को दिशा निर्देश दिए कि वह तुरंत मौके पर जाकर के आग पर काबू करने का प्रयास करें और पीड़ितों को राहत देने का प्रयास करें। विदेश में होने के कारण मैं व्यक्तिगत रूप से आज इस दुख की घड़ी में आपके बीच में शामिल नहीं हो पाया, जिसका मुझे बहुत अफसोस है।
Now, amid the political crisis in Jharkhand. All right, so what you see on your screen, of course, is the fire bellowing out over there, and we are given to understand that even as a large deployment was made of fire tenders, there could be a loss to property. Now, amid the political crisis in Jharkhand, the Chief Minister Hemant Soren has shifted 32 out of the 51 ruling coalition legislators to Raipur. However, the mystery over the remaining legislators remains, and the fact that only 32 MLAs moved to the Mayfair Resort in Raipur has raised speculation that the ruling alliance may not survive.
Amid the rising fears of the fall of the Jharkhand government, Jharkhand's Chief Minister Hemant Soren's fate hangs in the balance. In an exclusive scoop, Republic TV learnt that Jharkhand Chief Minister and JMM leader Hemant Soren is likely to resign as an MLA. This comes even as the governor Ramesh Bais is yet to pronounce his decision on the Election Commission of India's purported opinion to disqualify Soren in the office for profit case.
मुद्दा सारे झारखंड को पता है, एक ही मुद्दा है। जिस तरह से उपभोग की स्थिति पूरे प्रदेश में बनी हुई है, कहीं ना कहीं उसका पटाक्षेप होना चाहिए। आज इन्हीं सब बातों को लेकर हम लोग राजभवन आए।
As per sources, JMM and its allies have sought an appointment to meet the governor.
हमारे जो सदन के नेता, हमारे शिल्पी के नेता, हमारे जो कांग्रेस पार्टी के प्रभारी, इन लोगों से बैठ करके बात करने के बाद में सारी चीजें और भी आगे की रणनीति होगा, जिसको आप सभी लोग को बतला दिया जाएगा।
Amid the mounting fear over the Jharkhand government's collapse, earlier Chief Minister Hemant Soren shifted 32 of 51 ruling coalition legislators to Raipur.
पिछले 7 दिनों से पूरे राज्य में राजनीतिक असमंजस की स्थिति है। उन्होंने भी इसे एक गंभीर चीज बताया कि मेरे पास भी ऐसी सूचनाएं हैं। मुझे पत्र 25 को प्राप्त नहीं हुआ, 2 दिन बाद प्राप्त हुआ। मैं अभी तमाम कानूनी पहलुओं पर मंतव्य मांग रहा हूं और 2-4 दिनों में मैं चुनाव आयोग को अपना मंतव्य भेज दूंगा।
Now, a chartered plane has been booked for the period of 1 month for VIP movement. Sources privy to the development confirmed that a chartered plane has been stationed at Ranchi's Birsa Munda airport. The plane will be used in case of any emergency. While the poll body's decision has not been made public, there was a buzz that the Election Commission has recommended Soren's disqualification from the State Assembly.
राज्यपाल महोदय ने स्पष्ट किया है कि आयोग का पत्र हम लोगों को प्राप्त हुआ है। 1-2 दिनों में इस पर राय विचार करके कानूनी सलाह लेकर के और हम स्थिति स्पष्ट कर देंगे।
If Soren is disqualified as an MLA, the Jharkhand government will collapse irrespective of whether he's barred from contesting elections for a certain period or not. Meanwhile, the Raj Bhavan's final decision on the matter is awaited. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, the Punjab Women's Commission has taken a suo motu cognizance of an AAP woman MLA being slapped. The AAP MLA Baljinder Kaur was slapped by her husband in the month of July, and we're given to understand that the Women's Commission has taken suo motu cognizance of this issue and will be taking further action. So pictures on your screen are of CCTV footage that has now emerged of this particular incident, which the Women's Commission has taken cognizance of. In these pictures, we're given to understand that this woman MLA was slapped by her husband, and this is something that has been taken note of by the Women's Commission, and action will be taken against this. We are given to understand that notices have already been issued by the Women's Commission of Punjab. These of course are pictures that are on your screen of CCTV footage that has been accessed by Republic TV. It's very clear that the man loses his temper and goes on to hit his wife. Thereafter, of course, there are other people who intervene in this and take him away. But the Women's Commission has already taken cognizance of what happened. It was captured on the CCTV footage, on the CCTV camera that was installed inside the residence of the AAP MLA. The Commission has issued a notice already over this and has already asked for action to be taken. Now, the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman came down heavily on Telangana's TRS government over the KCR-Nitish Kumar meeting in Patna, saying that Nitish Kumar disrespected KCR and that he should rather focus on development of the people of Telangana.
స్టేట్ బాగుపడడానికి చేయాల్సిన పని పోయి ఒక ఫాల్స్ నేషనల్ లెవెల్ కన్సెన్సస్ కి నేనే వచ్చాను బాబు అని పూరా దేశం అంతా తిరిగి మీరు చూసారు బీహార్లో ఎలా ఉంది వెల్కమ్. అక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్ పక్కన కూర్చోవడం పోయి నిలబడి అయ్యా చాలు ఆపండి వెళ్దాం అని చెప్పే అంత పరిస్థితికి వచ్చింది. నేను తెలంగాణ ప్రజల కోసం నేను చెయ్యి ఇలా నమస్కారం పెట్టి అడుగుతున్నాను. స్టేట్ని కొంచెం జాగ్రత్తగా గమనించుకోండి. ప్రజల కోసం నేను చేయాల్సిన అన్ని పని చెయ్యండి. కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం తీసుకొచ్చిన ప్రతి పథకం కూడా ప్రజలకి అందుబాటులో రావాలనే దాని కోసం మేము ఊరుకో కష్టం అడుగుతూ ఉంటాం, సరిగా పోతుందా అని అడుగుతూ ఉంటాం. దానికి ఓపికగా జవాబు చెప్పాల్సిన బాధ్యత మీ మీద ఉంది. చిరాకు పడి నిష్ఠూరంగా లేకపోతే దిగజారుల మాటలతోటి ఆపోజిషన్ ఎవరు మాట్లాడటానికి ప్రశ్న అడిగే పద్ధతి మంచి పద్ధతి కాదు. మీరు అడగడానికి హక్కు లేదు, మీరెవరు అనే ధ్వనిలో మాట్లాడటం కూడా తప్పు. ఫెడరలిజంలో ఎలా కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం ప్రశ్న అడగడానికి అధికారం ఉందో అంతకంటే ఎక్కువ అధికారం ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రజలు, విపక్షాల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి పార్టీస్ అడగడానికి డెఫినెట్ గా వాళ్ళకి హక్కు ఉంది, అడుగుతారు. దానికి బాధ్యత మీ మీద ఉంది జవాబు చెప్పడానికి.
Now, in yet another sensational development, Republic TV has accessed documents revealing that Sonali Foghart's personal assistant Sudhir Sangwan had prepared documents of Foghart's farmhouse in Hisar. Sangwan reportedly wanted to take the farmhouse on lease and an agreement was prepared accordingly. As per reports, Sangwan made an agreement and was ready to pay a rent of 60,000 rupees annually, but according to sources, the land is worth close to about 40 crore rupees.
Passing day, there is a new twist in the Sonali Foghart case. Top sources have now confirmed to Republic TV that the Goa police is now essentially looking at the motive of the murder, which could perhaps be linked to certain property deals. In fact, we are now given to understand that the Goa police has already met with the revenue department officials to try and get more details regarding properties that were directly owned by Sonali Foghart.
While the investigation into Sonali Foghart's murder is underway, Republic TV has accessed her Hisar farmhouse lease documents. The documents reveal that Sonali Foghart's personal assistant Sudhir Sangwan tried to take her farmhouse on rent for a paltry sum.
Given to understand that this 6 acres farmhouse was originally owned by Sonali Foghart's husband, and it turns out that there is a lease agreement that has been signed in which there is an indication that Sudhir Sangwan wanted to usurp this farmhouse for just about 5,000 rupees per month. They're now looking at whether at all Sudhir Sangwan and the other accused in this particular case wanted to murder Sonali Foghart because of the properties that she owned, which they wanted to forcefully usurp.
The market rate of a 6-acre land on which the farmhouse is situated is worth more than 6 crore rupees per acre. As per the investigation conducted by the Haryana and Goa police, Sangwan was allegedly pressurizing his employer to transfer the lease in his name for a number of years. The documents accessed by Republic TV show that Sangwan bought an appointment in the sub-registrar's office for registering the lease on these occasions and secured an appointment slip too. However, Foghart did not reach the sub-registrar's office for completing the legal procedure.
कोर्ट में गए थे तो वहाँ से एडवोकेट से उसके कागज उठाए, हमने सारे देखा तो वो जो फार्म हाउस है वो 6 एकड़ के ऊपर उस जमीन को मतलब लीज में लेना चाहता था, सालाना 60,000 रुपये।
60,000 के लीज पे?
60,000 के लीज पे। तो वो फिर आज वकील को भी बुलाया गया है, अभी इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रही है, वकील से भी पूछताछ की जा रही है। सोनाली जी ने मतलब कि वो टोकन 3 बार कट चुका था उसका, सिर्फ वो अगर एक बार चले जाते फोटो और साइन ही बाकी थे, अदरवाइज सारी फॉर्मेलिटीज हो चुकी थी।
क्या टोकन मनी भी दिया जा चुका?
जी 3 बार दिया जा चुका था टोकन मनी।
Earlier on Thursday, a team of Goa police arrived at her residence in Hisar as part of its investigation. Sources also say that Sonali's family has shared screenshots of the details of the last conversation with Goa police. As per sources, Sonali Foghart spoke to her sister and brother-in-law at 10:13 p.m. on the 22nd of August for more than 6 minutes. Meanwhile, the post-mortem purportedly revealed that there were 46 injury marks on Foghart's body. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, the Haridwar hate speech accused Jitendra Narayan Tyagi has said that he will surrender in a Haridwar court today, and he's also gone on to claim in a video that his life is in danger and he may be killed in a suicide attack. Here's more.
The Haridwar hate speech accused Jitendra Narayan Tyagi has said he will surrender in a Haridwar court today. Earlier, in a video, he claimed that his life is in danger and he may be killed in a suicide attack. Tyagi, called Wasim Rizvi before his conversion to Hinduism, was granted an interim bail for 3 months on medical grounds in the Dharam Sansad case by the Supreme Court on the 17th of May. The Apex Court turned down his application for the extension of his bail earlier on Monday and asked him to surrender on the 2nd of September. Tyagi was the first to be arrested in January this year in connection with the Haridwar Dharm Sansad, where highly provocative speeches were allegedly made against other religions. The Dharm Sansad was held in December last year. His name is among 10 accused, including the controversial priest of the Dasna temple near Ghaziabad, Yati Narsinganand. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And here's a look at what else is making news this morning. Prime Minister Modi will commission India's first indigenous aircraft carrier, the INS Vikrant, at the Cochin Shipyard Limited in Kochi. The Prime Minister will commission the aircraft carrier at about 9:30 this morning. He will also unveil the new naval ensign, doing away with the colonial past and befitting the rich Indian maritime heritage. The Chief Pontiff of the Sri Muruga Mutt, Shivamurti Muruga, has been arrested under the POCSO case. The police said that the second person who's in custody is also being questioned. Now, speaking to the media, Chitradurga's SP said that after the medical checkup, the Seer will be presented before the magistrate. The Chief Pontiff of the Muruga Mutt, Shivamurti Muruga, has been sent to 14 days of judicial custody in the case of sexual assault of minor girls. He was brought to Chitradurga District Jail. The police will seek police remand in open court today. The Delhi Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena has hit out at the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, saying that he'd flagged issues including anomalies in the excise policy and files not being signed by the Chief Minister as part of his duties towards people of the national capital. But the response has been nothing but subterfuge, amounting to the defense of the indefensible and an abusive personal attack on him. You are watching Republic TV, and still to come, the Prime Minister is to commission the first indigenously designed and built aircraft carrier, the INS Vikrant, today. And Abhishek Banerjee is likely to appear before the ED in the coal smuggling case.
Amity University in London, accredited by Quality Assurance Agency UK and licensed by the Government of UK, offers MBA and BBA degrees at its central London campus. Embark on a global career with a globally recognized UK university degree. To apply, visit amity.edu/London.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Here is the case. A 64-year-old man, very powerful, is accused of sexually abusing and raping two minor girls who are aged 16 years and 17 years. The sexual abuse has been going on for 3 years. In other words, it started when this man, who you see there on the screen, viewers, when he was 61 years old, and when these girls were 14 years old and 15 years old. Today, these girls are under immense attack. And this 64-year-old man is getting nationwide support from politicians, social leaders, even some sections of the shameless media and religious activists. They say he's a religious leader. He has a status, they say. He has a status. He has a reputation. He's spotless, they say, spotless, above question of mere mortals. And in fact, Yediyurappa, recently promoted by the BJP to the highest decision-making body nationally of the BJP, making him one of the top 6 or 7 topmost leaders of India's ruling party nationally today. The same Yediyurappa says this 64-year-old man who's accused of merely raping and merely sexually abusing girls of the age of 14 and 15 is completely innocent, Yediyurappa says. In other words, he says that these girls who say they were abused when they were just 14 years old and who have endured abuse and rape by this man 5 times their age, Yediyurappa says they are liars. The children are liars. And viewers, if I ask questions about it, then these powerful people will ask me.
It is a mega Republic campaign impact. Rape accused Karnataka Seer Shivamurthy is arrested and remanded to 14 days of judicial custody. Prime Minister Modi is to commission the first indigenously designed and built aircraft carrier, the INS Vikrant, today. The Finance Minister lashes out at KCR over Nitish Kumar's meeting, says focus on the development of Telangana first. It is Baichung Bhutia versus Kalyan Chaubey. The sports body AIFF races to elect its president. Abhishek Banerjee likely to appear before the ED today in the coal smuggling case. Welcome back. You are watching the Morning Express on Republic TV. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri and bringing you some breaking updates that are just coming in. 3 M&S workers have been arrested after a viral video shows an assault on an elderly woman. Now, this comes after a video surfaced in which the M&S workers can be seen abusing an elderly woman who ended up crying over the treatment that was meted out to her. The viral video sparked a massive outrage against the party led by Raj Thackeray. So pictures, or we're going to try and get you pictures of what really happened, but what we are given to understand is that after this tape went viral, 3 people have been arrested so far in this particular case. So those pictures that you see on your screen actually tell you of what was unleashed on this elderly woman. It was an assault that took place as these 3 M&S workers continued to assault her despite her prayers to be left alone. Now, action, of course, has been taken against these 3 M&S leaders who have now been arrested. Let's listen into reactions that we are getting.
बहुत ही हैरान करने वाला, चौंकाने वाला और दुख देने वाला वीडियो सामने आया है, जहां पे एक वरिष्ठ पदाधिकारी, मनसे के पदाधिकारी, महाराष्ट्र नवनिर्माण सेना, जिसके राज ठाकरे जी अध्यक्ष हैं, वो एक महिला के साथ अभद्र भाषा का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, उनके साथ धक्का मुक्की कर रहे हैं, उनको हर तरीके से चुप कराने का काम कर रहे हैं। और वो क्यों कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि वो महिला अपनी आवाज़ उठा रही थी गलत काम को लेकर। ये किस तरीके की संस्कृति है? ये कौन से संस्कार हैं? और ये महाराष्ट्र की संस्कृति और संस्कार बिल्कुल नहीं है। मैं चाहती हूँ कि जल्द से जल्द ये जो इंसान हैं जो वीडियो पे पकड़े गए हैं, ये उन महिला से माफ़ी मांगे और महाराष्ट्र की सारी महिलाओं से माफ़ी मांगे, भाषा के लिए माफ़ी मांगे और उनके पार्टी के अध्यक्ष उन पे सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई करें और उनको पदमुक्त करें। तभी महिला के लिए इंसाफ होगा और जो भी कानून की प्रक्रिया होनी चाहिए जल्द से जल्द शुरू होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि महाराष्ट्र में महिला के साथ इस तरीके का व्यवहार हम कतई नहीं सहेंगे। हम सब अपनी आवाज़ बुलंदी से उठाएंगे और इस पदाधिकारी को पद मुक्त करने में हम सब भागीदारी लेंगे।
Now, Prime Minister Modi is set to commission. All right, so pictures on your screen, of course, are of this assault that took place, and action has been taken. Moving on, Prime Minister Modi is set to commission India's first indigenously built aircraft carrier, Vikrant, in Kochi today. During the event, the Prime Minister will also unveil the new naval ensign. Here's more.
It's a proud day for moment for the Indian Navy as PM Modi is set to commission India's first made-in-India aircraft carrier into its naval fleet. Joining an elite club of nations like UK, US, China, Russia and Japan capable of building these elite warships.
Proud moment for the nation when Prime Minister Narendra Modi commissions and dedicates to the nation India's first indigenously designed aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant. Takes the name from the old warship, the first one that India had and in fact taken from the British. This is almost 75% designed, built in India, and that's something which should be a matter of pride. With India joining just 5 nations around the world that have this capacity to build 40,000 tons plus capacity aircraft carriers.
Built by Cochin Shipyard Limited, IAC Vikrant is touted to be a game changer for the Indian Navy, as PM is all set to induct the aircraft carrier into the Indian Navy today. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, with India's first indigenously built aircraft carrier all set to be commissioned by the Prime Minister today, Republic TV's Ashwin Kumar filed this exclusive report from the carrier.
A game changer for the Indian Navy, a flag bearer of Atmanirbhar in defence sector. IAC Vikrant is all set to be commissioned into the Indian Navy.
INS Vikrant is a 262-meter long aircraft carrier and 62-meter wide. Essentially, it's more than 2 football fields and much bigger than 2 hockey fields. It can also, if you have to say, according to the Navy, it's the size of 10 Olympic-sized swimming pools. That's the entire size of this entire deck. Now, I'm right now at the flight deck of the INS Vikrant. Now, what is important is the fact that this is a ship which has got 15 decks. More than 1,300 compartments are there in this ship.
With excitement in the air, the fever palpable, we asked the Navy men about the magnificent war vessel.
It has always been a pleasure to be on board INS Vikrant. As you said, it is a great emotion and feeling when you land on board the aircraft carrier. Actually, it is called always, whenever you must heard some pilot saying that I'm landing on this or that airfield. But when an aircraft takes off from the aircraft carrier and after accomplishing the mission, he comes back, he says, I'm back to my mother. So that is the feeling we have for our parent unit.
With the induction of IAC Vikrant into the Navy, India hopes to bolster its Navy defence capabilities. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, as FIFA lifts the ban on the Indian wing of the organisation, preparations are underway for the AIFF elections, with the former Indian footballers contending for the presidential spot.
Putting the FIFA ban fiasco behind, India's top football body AIFF is all set to elect its new executive council today. The Supreme Court order on 22nd August dissolved the earlier Executive Council, leaving the positions of President, Vice President and Treasurer vacant alongside the Executive Committee members. The context to watch out for is for the President's post. Ex-Indian football team captain Baichung Bhutia and ex-Indian goalkeeper Kalyan Chaube. Out of the 34 state associations, 28 are speculated to have already pledged their support for Kalyan Chaube. When it comes to the process, 36 states and Union Territory Football Association will take part in the election. Out of the 23 members, 17 will be elected by the Electoral College, while 6 will be co-opted eminent football players. 14 Executive Council members are all set to be elected unopposed. Ahead of the big election day, wishes for Bhutia poured in from Olympic medalist Abhinav Bindra. After all the tribulations Indian football has seen on and off the field, today's election will be an interesting fight of sportsmanship in spirit and in the literal sense. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And here's a quick look at what else is making news this morning. Prime Minister Modi will commission India's first indigenous aircraft carrier, the INS Vikrant, at the Cochin Shipyard in Kochi. The Prime Minister will commission the aircraft carrier at about 9:30 a.m. He will also unveil the new naval ensign, doing away with the colonial past and befitting the rich Indian maritime heritage. The chief pontiff of the Muruga Mutt, Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanuru, was arrested in the POCSO case last night. The police said that the second person who's been in custody is also being questioned. Speaking to media persons, Chitradurga's SP said that after the medical checkup, the seer will be presented before the magistrate. The chief pontiff of the Sri Muruga Mutt, Shivamurthy Muruga, has been sent to 14 days of judicial custody in the sexual assault case of minor girls. He was brought to Chitradurga district jail. The police will seek remand in open court today. Delhi's Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena has hit out at the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, saying that he flagged issues including anomalies in the excise policy and files not being signed by the Chief Minister as part of his duties towards the people of the national capital. The response has been nothing but subterfuge, amounting to defense of the indefensible and abusive personal attacks on him. The Odisha government has distributed financial assistance of 869 crore rupees to 41 lakh small and marginal farmers and 85,000 landless farmers under the Krushak Assistance for Livelihood and Income Augmentation Scheme on the occasion of Nuakhai, the harvesting festival in Odisha. And news just coming in, 7 people have been killed in an accident in Malpur in the Aravali district. The accident took place near the Krishanpur Patia in Malpur. Pedestrians were crushed by a driver of an Innova car who fell asleep on the wheel, and many of these pedestrians have been taken to a hospital nearby. Primary information has been received that seems to suggest that several people were injured in this accident that took place in Gujarat in the Malpur area of Aravali district. So pictures on your screen, of course, are of an Innova car which rammed into several pedestrians. We are learning that the driver was fell asleep on the wheel, and that is what caused the accident. So we're also learning that 6 people have died in this particular accident, and there are others who've been wounded. They've been taken to the local hospital for medical care. But pictures on your screen are of how this vehicle actually rammed into pedestrians. Priyanka on the phone line with us. Priyanka, please give us more details of what took place. It does appear to be a case of where the driver fell asleep on the wheel.
Well, that's exactly what happened, Nupur. This is something that had went on in the Aravali district in Gujarat. In fact, these were 6 people who were the pilgrims who were walking to Ambaji, which is a religious place here. And they had been, they had been walking in the night, and that's when this entire incident had also taken place in the morning, the wee hours of the morning. And the car was Innova, is what was being given to understand, and the driver had fallen asleep on the wheel, because of which this kind of an accident took place, in which he had ended up unfortunately killing 6 of these pilgrims who had been walking to Ambaji itself. And now, other than that, we are being told that the police had also reached the spot, and they are making a report of the entire incident that had taken place, and an FIR will also be registered against the driver as well of culpable homicide, is what we've been given to understand. But as of now, the investigation is going on, and the other pilgrims as well who had been around that area, who had sustained minor injuries, had also been tended to. There were some that had also been shifted to the hospital for primary treatment as well. And now we are being told that at least 6 of these people who have lost their lives, their family members as well, are being contacted. But more details of the drivers are also being taken out, because this is the driver first. Of course, the investigation was also done to make sure that there was that he was not driving under the influence of any sort, and the police has confirmed that it is not the case, and they have confirmed to the fact that he had just fallen asleep on the wheel and had been driving through the night, which is why this entire incident had taken.
All right, Priyanka, bringing us those details. Thank you for joining us. So as Priyanka was pointing out, of course, 6 people unfortunately lost their lives in that accident, and there are several who were wounded. And here's a look at what else is making news. And we are, of course, getting you some sporting action right now. World number 1 Iga Swiatek of Poland defeated the former US Open champion Sloane Stephens Thursday 6-3, 6-2. The Manchester United manager Erik Ten Hag has said that his players still have to construct a winning culture despite their third successive Premier League victory as they beat Leicester City 1-0 on Thursday.
To construct the right winning culture, and that is
Hector Bellerin has resigned for Barcelona on a free transfer from Arsenal. The deal also includes a substantial sell-on clause for the Londoners if the 27-year-old leaves the camp. The Spanish defender has signed a one-year deal with the Catalan club. Sergiño Dest has completed his loan move to AC Milan from Barcelona. The Serie A club has an option to buy the 21-year-old American right back at the end of the season. Earlier this week, some reports had linked him with a move to Manchester United. The US Open Thursday. You're watching Republic TV, and still to come on the Morning Express. The Finance Minister lashes out at KCR over the meeting with Nitish Kumar, says focus on development of Telangana first. And Abhishek Banerjee is likely to appear before the ED today in the coal smuggling case.
Amity University in London, accredited by Quality Assurance Agency UK and licensed by the Government of UK, offers MBA and BBA degrees at its central London campus. Embark on a global career with a globally recognized UK university degree. To apply, visit amity.edu/London.
This is a clash that is happening. Protesters are trying to stop the vehicle of the DC over here, and this could probably lead to some kind of a tense situation. There is a large protest that is happening. Now we can see that the police is trying to move the protesters from in front of the vehicle of the DC, and they are demanding justice.
BJP workers are protesting. Now BJP is not only demanding answers from Aam Aadmi Party government on the issue of excise policy, on the issue of construction of classroom, but also they are demanding resignations of Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain. All the MLAs of BJP have now been suspended from the Delhi Vidhan Sabha Assembly for the entire day.
सच हमने दिखाया, सच आपने देखा, हमारी पहचान उम्मीदों की रेखा, आपके भरोसे से हमारे काम का लेखा, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन। आप पहचानते हैं, जानते हैं हमें, तभी तो अपना मानते हैं हमें। आर भारत के साथ भारत का समय, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
A breaking update that
You are watching the Morning Express on Republic TV. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to unveil the new naval ensign during the commissioning of India's first indigenously built aircraft carrier, the Vikrant, in Kochi today. The Prime Minister, of course, will also be unveiling that ensign for the Navy.
It's a proud moment for India as PM Modi will unveil a new ensign for the Indian Navy as it is set to shed its colonial past with dropping of St. George Red Cross on the flag. This will be the fourth chance to the ensign since 1915.
Commissioning INS Vikrant today, India's first indigenously designed aircraft carrier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi would also be unveiling a new ensign or nishan of the Indian Navy, doing away with the colonial past. The present ensign carries a Victoria Cross, a legacy of the times of the British, and the new ensign would be released by the Prime Minister in a while from now. Continuation of many decisions taken by Prime Minister Modi in his term as Prime Minister since 2014, in which he has focused on doing away with British and colonial past and bring new emblems of Indianness into symbols of governance.
It's a big step for our Navy as it ends colonial era and instills a sense of pride in our men with the unveiling of a new naval ensign. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And we will be bringing you all the updates as the Prime Minister unveils the new ensign as well as commissions INS Vikrant. And the Finance Minister lashes out at KCR over Nitish Kumar meetings as focus on the development of Telangana.
चुनौतियों से नहीं डरते हम, दुनिया ने देखा है हमारा दम, दुश्मनों को करके बेदम, राष्ट्रहित में बढ़ते कदम, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
If there is a crime which is increasing in my constituency, I don't control police. I have to come to the leadership to talk about law and order. So I have come here.
Today's protest by the Aam Aadmi Party leadership was on the deteriorating law and order situation in the capital.
उन्नति का पथ, उम्मीदों का रथ, सत्य की शपथ, हम हैं रिपब्लिक भारत, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
This is a clash that is happening. Protesters are trying to stop the vehicle of the DC over here, and this could probably lead to some kind of a tense situation. There is a large protest that is happening. Now we can see that the police is trying to move the protesters from in front of the vehicle of the DC, and they are demanding justice.
BJP workers are protesting. Now BJP is not only demanding answers from Aam Aadmi Party government on the issue of excise policy, on the issue of construction of classroom, but also they are demanding resignations of Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain. All the MLAs of BJP have now been suspended from the Delhi Vidhan Sabha Assembly for the entire day.
The two prime accused in the Dumka murder case have been sent to the SID remand for 3 days. Now, this comes after the SIT interrogated the accused and is likely to recreate the crime scene.
In a fresh updates in the Dumka murder case, both prime accused Shahrukh and Chotu have been sent to SIT remand for 72 hours.
इस SIT के अंतर्गत जो हमने इन्वेस्टिगेशन जो बीड़ा उठाया है, इसके अंदर को जो है इन्वेस्टिगेटर भी हम लोग उसमें नियुक्त किया गया है, जिसके कि काबिल तरीके से और बढ़िया तरीक़ा से और इसको जो है इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया जा सके। और हमारा यही मकसद रहेगा कि जो एविडेंस है उस एविडेंस को हम जो है कि पेश कर सकें कोर्ट के समक्ष में, और आगे जो हमने चार्जशीट देना है वो है कि जल्दी जो है चार्जशीट दे सकें और त्वरित विचारण से ये कोर्ट में हम जो इसको चार्जशीट देते हुए इसका विचारण से इसका सज़ा दिलाने के लिए हम लोग जो है कि डायरी देंगे।
The accused have been charged with POCSO Act as the deceased Ankita was a minor.
302 का जो धारा है वो मैक्सिमम सेंटेंस उसी में है, तो ये जो हम कंसंट्रेट करेंगे मैक्सिमम सेंटेंस पर, और पॉस्को तो है ही है क्योंकि ये रूटीन तौर पर पॉस्को जब लग गया, क्योंकि ये 18 साल से पहले का सर्टिफिकेट बाद में हमें प्राप्त हुआ और कोर्ट में हमने इसको पेश किया गया, और ये पॉस्को और 326A के अंतर्गत एंड 302, 120B और 34 ये धाराओं में ये हमने इसको रजिस्टर किया है।
A post-mortem report confirmed that Ankita was a minor and was set ablaze by highly inflammable substances. This comes after the SIT interrogated the accused to understand their role in the heinous crime. The team is also likely to recreate the crime scene in Dumka district. Ankita, a 15-year-old, was set on fire by a man after she repeatedly rejected his advances. She was sleeping in a house when prime accused Shahrukh poured petrol on her through a window and set her on fire. She suffered 90% burns on her body and eventually succumbed. The Jharkhand High Court took suo motu cognizance of the case and has ordered the Director General of Police to file a report. Meanwhile, NCW has also sought a report on the case from DGP. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
You are watching Republic TV, and a lot more coming up next, including the elections for the AIFF presidents. It's Baichung Bhutia versus Kalyan Chaube. And Abhishek Banerjee likely to appear before the ED today in the coal smuggling case.
सच हमने दिखाया, सच आपने देखा, हमारी पहचान उम्मीदों की रेखा, आपके भरोसे से हमारे काम का लेखा, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन। आप पहचानते हैं, जानते हैं हमें, तभी तो अपना मानते हैं हमें। आर भारत के साथ भारत का समय, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
A breaking update that the anticipatory bail hearing will be done only tomorrow because there is a due process that needs to be completed. We can see a large number of Dalits have now gathered outside the Deputy Commissioner's office in Chitradurga demanding that justice be delivered. A majority of them are women, and they are demanding that the politicians in the state speak out. Despite having the POXO case registered, it's been over 6 days. No arrest has been made. They are also saying they demand that the Seer must be arrested and he must step down from the responsibility and face the law.
चुनौतियों से नहीं डरते हम, दुनिया ने देखा है हमारा दम, दुश्मनों को करके बेदम, राष्ट्रहित में बढ़ते कदम, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
If there is a crime which is increasing in my constituency, I don't control police. I have to come to the leadership to talk about law and order. So I have come here.
Today's protest by the Aam Aadmi Party leadership was on the deteriorating law and order situation in the capital.
उन्नति का पथ, उम्मीदों का रथ, सत्य की शपथ, हम हैं रिपब्लिक भारत, राष्ट्र सर्वोपरि सम्मेलन।
This is a clash that is happening. Protesters are trying to stop the vehicle of the DC over here. There's an old saying in the Navy that ships don't die, they just fade away only to be reborn again. INS Vikrant, the largest indigenous aircraft carrier ever built by the country, where India has joined a league of few nations which has made this feat. On September 2nd, INS Vikrant will be commissioned into the Indian Navy.
It's a mega Republic impact. Rape accused Karnataka Seer Shivamurthy arrested and remanded to 14 days of judicial custody. PM Modi to commission the first indigenously designed and built aircraft carrier INS Vikrant today. Finance Minister lashes out at KCR over Nitish Meet, says focus on the development of Telangana first. It's Baichung Bhutia versus Kalyan Chaubey. Sports body AIFF braces up to elect its president. Abhishek Banerjee likely to appear before the ED today in coal smuggling case. All right, good morning friends. It's a big day in India's naval traditions and India becoming a naval power, a blue waters navy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will commission the first indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, the largest ship ever built in maritime history of India and houses state-of-the-art automation features. The commissioning of the 1,000 feet long INS Vikrant is set to take place at 9:30 a.m. That's the time when the Prime Minister arrives at the Cochin Shipyard Limited in Kerala. Designed by the Warship Design Bureau, the Indian Navy's in-house organization, and built by the Cochin Shipyard, the indigenous aircraft carrier is named after her illustrious predecessor, India's first aircraft carrier, which played a vital role in the 1971 war. Let's look at this report first. All right, let's begin with the discussion first and then go back to the visuals. Just to give you an idea of how the day is lined up. Joining us early morning, Major Gaurav Arya, our in-house expert on strategic affairs. Good morning, Major Arya. Just to give an idea to you and to the viewers joining us in this morning broadcast as to how the events really pan out at the Cochin Shipyard. I believe the guests have already started gathering. And Prime Minister would be arriving at 9:30 a.m. Before him, of course, the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Chief Minister of Kerala Pinarayi Vijayan, National Security Advisor Ajit Dobal, and interestingly, because it's a showcase of India's power, hard power actually, so there would be ambassadors from many countries and defence attaches of many missions here in New Delhi present there on board the INS Vikrant when it's commissioned and dedicated to the nation. Major Arya, your thoughts on the strategic importance of this day, not just for Indian Navy, but for India's strategic power projection.
No, absolutely. Good morning, Abhishek, and thank you for inviting me to your show. Today is indeed a red letter day for India, simply because, like you very rightly said, projection of Indian hard power, but also the fact that ambassadors will be coming from across the world. This is India telling the world that there is a new sheriff in town, like they would say in the Wild West. There is a new sheriff in town. This is an indigenously built aircraft carrier. And I mean, the Navy officers would be in a better position to tell you than me. But the fact of the matter is, everyone believes that there is no better platform for projecting national power than an aircraft carrier. It does not get bigger than an aircraft carrier. There is no bigger weapon system. This is like a floating city, a floating airfield with squadrons of, fighter jets, squadrons of helicopter gunships, transport aircraft, a crew of more than 1,500 or so. And I think Abhishek, this is so beautiful because this gorgeous piece of machinery, this weapon system that we see in front of us has been built in India by Indians, Abhishek. In India by Indians.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Major, stay on with us. Stay on with us. It's going to be a few hours of discussion on this big day for Indian Navy and indeed for India's hard power projection. Commodore Vijay Vadera joins us. He's president of the Navy Foundation. He's joining us live from Mumbai. Welcome, sir. Good morning. Very good morning to you. A big day for India and for, as I said, India's hard power projection. India's first indigenously built and designed aircraft carrier INS Vikrant to be commissioned and dedicated by Prime Minister just a while from now. Your thoughts, sir? You are from Navy. It should be a moment of pride for you as well. Proud moment for you as well.
Absolutely. Good morning, Abhishek. Jai Hind. It is indeed a moment of great pride for me and all the naval officers, defense officers, the public in India, that we have today an aircraft carrier renamed from the old Vikrant being commissioned by Honorable Prime Minister, which is 76% indigenous component, and we join the league of big nations like UK, USA, France, China, USSR, Italy in building up major warships, aircraft carriers, for our defense forces, which is a big power projection as far as the Navy is concerned.
Yes, sir. We have to show to the viewers a small package on the significance of this aircraft carrier. Prime Minister, of course, all set to commission INS Vikrant, which has been called till now, till today, till the time that Prime Minister commissions it, the IAC-1, Indigenous Aircraft Carrier 1. Now, during the event, Prime Minister will also unveil the new naval ensign, the Nishan for Indian Navy, doing away with the Victorian Cross, a British legacy. Here are the details, and then we come back.
It's a proud moment for the Indian Navy as PM Modi is set to commission India's first made-in-India aircraft carrier into its naval fleet. Joining an elite club of nations like UK, US, China, Russia and Japan capable of building these elite warships.
Proud moment for the nation when Prime Minister Narendra Modi commissions and dedicates to the nation India's first indigenously designed aircraft carrier INS Vikrant. Takes the name from the old warship, the first one that India had and in fact taken from the British. This is almost 75% designed, built in India, and that's something which should be a matter of pride, with India joining just 5 nations around the world that have this capacity to build 40,000 tons plus capacity aircraft carriers.
Built by Cochin Shipyard Limited, IAC Vikrant is touted to be a game changer for the Indian Navy as PM is all set to induct the aircraft carrier into the Indian Navy today. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Major Are, I'll come back to you. You know, India joins a select club of 5 nations in the world which have this capability, technological, technical, to really design and build this kind of war machine. You know, your thoughts on that, because this is going to have strategic consequences for the power equilibrium in the world.
No, absolutely, Abhishek, with the rising threat of China, especially in the seas. What we have done wrong and where injustice has been done to the Indian Navy is that for a long time, India has neglected its Navy, not realizing that 2/3 of the world is water. It is oceans and seas. And you can't, at the expense of the other arms and services, you cannot ignore the Indian Navy, because this is true projection of power outside India. Because we've been stuck up in the Himalayas for so long. You know, all our wars were towards the east, towards the west, or towards the north. Since we did not see the kind of combat that we should have seen in the seas, we thought it was not important. But the fact of the matter is, there is nothing more important than power projection in the seas. And today the world realizes it. In fact, the world realized it long, long back. We have started realizing it now, that the more indigenously built boats that we have, ships that we have, and the more powerful our Navy is, the more India gets to say, even on the diplomatic table. Now, the entire Chinese trade takes place in the seas.
Yeah.
The global trade takes place in the seas. Power projection by the Indian Navy in the various oceans across the world I think, Abhishek, this is the power that India should seek, and India should have sought for a very long time. Unfortunately, we did not. But now we are making amends, and now this is also, affirmation of the fact that we are on the right path, Abhishek.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, Commodore Vadra, when we say blue water navy, I think the most critical component of a blue water navy is its capacity to go much beyond its shores, thousands of kilometers beyond its shores, and aircraft carrier has to be integral to that design. For some time, I think briefly, we were without an aircraft carrier, and in fact, Vikramaditya still remains in repairs. And in that sense, for India to get this aircraft carrier built by our own engineers, by our own Navy, I was present at the curtain raiser, which was done by the Navy, and we were told there that in one fueling, this warship can go right up to Brazil, and that's the capacity, that's the capability India really acquires now in terms of having its warship in the seas and ready to take care of its strategic objectives. So your thoughts, sir, on how really this changes the geopolitical dynamics in the Indian Ocean and in fact beyond?
Yes, Abhishek, one minor correction. I am commander and not a commodore. Thank you. As far as power projection is concerned, with the aircraft carrier, it is meant for sea denial role, sea control role. That means aircraft carrier protected by 6 or 7 frontline ships can go out away from your own country, as much as 7,500 nautical miles, and project their sea power, their naval power and their missile power to the other countries. The very fact the British ruled the world, all along earlier was because of their naval power. As you see right now, China is having a lot of influence in the South China Sea and trying to make inroads into the Indian Ocean by building himself, the aircraft carriers. They already have 2 to 3 aircraft carriers, and the 4th is under construction, and they are doing it at a fast pace. So they have also realized that to project nation's power across the seas, you have to have an aircraft carrier which can go out, which is a mini airfield, which can operate independently. Of course, it has to be protected by a screen of 6-7 frontline ships, anti-submarine ships, and maybe submarines as part of the flotilla. It is a very costly affair, but it is required if you indeed want to project yourself as a maritime power far away from your shore, and assure your friends and friendly countries all around the globe that you will be there at the time of need. If you remember in 71 war, when the then East Pakistan was about to surrender and they had approached the Americans, the American 7th Fleet had almost reached the Malacca Straits, projecting their power, trying to scare us that either you release all these prisoners of war and come to terms, otherwise we will showcase our power. So that kind of a power projection is needed, is required, and is being done by all the superpowers of the country. Even so far, the USSR and China had believed that the aircraft carriers are not required, and they concentrated on building the nuclear submarines, which is to go and attack the enemy in their area. But they realized that yes, aircraft carrier indeed is required for power projection for sea control.
Yeah, in fact, because you started by saying, sir, that this is a very important component of sea denial or area denial strategy of a navy. I think we saw, like you gave the example of 1971, and I think India also moved its aircraft carrier into the Bay of Bengal. But we have seen recently, Major Arya, during the visit of Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan, the US Navy parked 4 of its aircraft carriers around the Taiwan Straits and in fact in the East China Sea, and I think that really played some role in restraining China from the kind of belligerence they were showing. Of course they did, but then it must have prevented them from crossing a certain Rubicon, crossing a certain threshold, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, Abhishek, you're right. You see, in the seas, forget about the seas. Nowhere in the world exists a bigger and a more credible, more frightening, weapons platform than an aircraft carrier. And all these US aircraft carriers are roughly 100,000 tons displacement. And these are nuclear, they have nuclear aided propulsion systems, and these are the best in class aircraft carriers. So 4 aircraft carriers in and around Taiwan and China, this is enough and more to change China's mind and, tell China to cool down, because this is power projection at its best. 400,000 tons of steel weaponry and nuclear weaponry as such, is a very compulsive argument, Abhishek, and that is exactly what America did. And, coming back to the point of an aircraft carrier and why this is important for India, is that, when India says that they want to be a regional power, they want to be a regional superpower or a global superpower. Though I'm from the army and I haven't seen much of the sea, I have no knowledge of the sea. But one thing everybody acknowledges across the armed forces, be they from the Army, Navy or the Air Force, does not matter, that the way forward is the Navy, Abhishek. This is not to say that the Air Force and the Army must not get their due, but if India wants to be a global superpower, you can't ignore the Navy and go ahead. It will not happen without the Navy. It cannot happen without the Navy. In human history, it has never happened without the Navy. Commander Vijay Vadera very rightly pointed out that about England, such a small island ruling the world. And a large part of that rule, a large part of that success had everything to do with the naval forces, Abhishek.
Absolutely. In fact, we'll continue this very engaging conversation, Major Arya and, of course, Commander Vadra. But we were given access to the IAC-1, which is from today going to be INS Vikrant. Our Kerala Bureau Chief Ashwin was there on board. Let's look at that report and then come back.
A game changer for the Indian Navy, a flag bearer of Atmanirbhar in defense sector. IAC Vikrant is all set to be commissioned into the Indian Navy.
INS Vikrant is a 262-meter long aircraft carrier and 62-meter wide. Essentially, it's more than 2 football fields and much bigger than 2 hockey fields. It can also, if you have to say, according to the Navy, it's the size of 10 Olympic-sized swimming pools. That's the entire size of this entire deck. I am right now at the flight deck of the INS Vikrant. Now, what is important is the fact that this is a ship which has got 15 decks. More than 1,300 compartments are there in this ship.
With excitement in the air, the fever palpable, we asked the Navy men about the magnificent war vessel.
It has always been a pleasure to be on board INS Vikrant. As you said, it is a great emotion and feeling when you land on board the aircraft carrier. Actually, it is called always, whenever you must heard some pilot saying that I'm landing on this or that airfield. But when an aircraft takes off from the aircraft carrier and after accomplishing the mission, he comes back, he says, I'm back to my mother. So that is the feeling we have for our parent unit.
With the induction of IAC Vikrant into the Navy, India hopes to bolster its Navy defense capabilities. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
All right, those pictures actually give goosebumps. Commander Vadra, Indian aircraft carriers have seen action in wars. Please tell us some history about how we have really used aircraft carriers as power projection for India, and then we come back.
You see, if you recollect, in 71 war, we had positioned the old INS Vikrant on the eastern coast for power projection, in the Bay of Bengal to take care of the then East Pakistan, and it took active part in the war. The aircrafts, Seahawks on board the Vikrant flew and bombarded, the Dhaka and Khulna and other cities of then East Pakistan, and they brought about complete air superiority, over then East Pakistan. So that kind of a power projection we did manage to do during the 71 war, and that is the reason that the Pakistanis in East Pakistan were forced to surrender. They were surrounded by our ground forces all over their cities, and the air projection was there from Vikrant. They could not have any of the aircrafts coming to their rescue, and the complete blockade of Dhaka was achieved by our ships which were positioned on the eastern front, including aircraft carrier Vikrant, which was flying Seahawks day in and day out. So that kind of achievement we managed to get, which resulted in ultimate victory of India in 71 war. And even Pakistani realized, they somehow got the intelligence that Vikrant would be operating off Visakhapatnam, and their only submarine Ghazi, which was capable of transiting all the way from Karachi towards the Bay of Bengal, was tasked to go there with the sole aim of sinking Vikrant. I'm saying, imagine if some Ghazi was indeed successful in doing so, what kind of a moral letdown it would have been for the whole India, the Indian Navy. But because of our intelligence, we managed to, the Vikrant managed to leave Visakhapatnam harbour much before Ghazi arrived off Visakhapatnam harbour. And in the bargain, we even achieved the kill of Ghazi. And that was another big blow to the Pakistani Navy. All these things accumulated in the result which we got in 16 days war, which has this is the first time in the world in a short war a total victory has been achieved where a country has been divided into two parts.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, what proud moment it must have been. Of course, Operation Ghazi itself is a story, and we will discuss some time. But 76% of components built in India, almost 500 units, industries, MSMEs involved in the manufacture and design. Design, in fact, is 100% Indian. And what distance we have traveled from the time when we borrowed it or bought it from the British and then from the Russians. And now India joining a select group of half a dozen odd nations, 5 to be precise, and having our own aircraft carrier. We'll take a short break, but I'll come back to discuss the indigenous components and that element of our aircraft carrier just after a short break. All right, stand by as Prime Minister Modi is set to commission the first made in India aircraft carrier INS Vikrant shortly.
Amity University in London, accredited by Quality Assurance Agency UK and licensed by the Government of UK, offers MBA and BBA degrees at its central London campus. Embark on a global career with a globally recognized UK university degree. To apply, visit amity.edu/London.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Here is the case. A 64-year-old man, very powerful, is accused of sexually abusing and raping 2 minor girls who are aged 16 years and 17 years. The sexual abuse has been going on for 3 years. In other words, it started when this man, who you see there on the screen, viewers, when he was 61 years old, and when these girls were 14 years old and 15 years old. Today, these girls are under immense attack. And this 64-year-old man is getting nationwide support from politicians, social leaders, even some sections of the shameless media and religious activists. They say he's a religious leader. He has a status, they say. He has a status. He has a reputation. He's spotless, they say, spotless, above question of mere mortals. And in fact, Yediyurappa, recently promoted by the BJP to the highest decision-making body nationally of the BJP, making him one of the top 6 or 7 topmost leaders of India's ruling party nationally today. The same Yediyurappa says this 64-year-old man who's accused of merely raping and merely sexually abusing girls of the age of 14 and 15 is completely innocent, Yediyurappa says. In other words, he says that these girls who say they were abused when they were just 14 years old and who have endured abuse and rape by this man 5 times their age, Yediyurappa says they are liars. The children are liars. And viewers, if I ask questions about it, then these powerful people will ask me why I am defending these girls. Who should I defend? I ask you tonight. And who should I fight? Should I defend a man who surrounds himself with politicians and other religious figures and calls his alleged victims as conspirators and
All right, I wanted to discuss with my privileged guests, this aspect of indigenization and the manner in which India went about it, the Atmanirbharta thought and the Made in India design, Made in India components. But before that, Major Arya, another aspect of today's ceremony is going to be the unveiling of a new ensign, the Nishan for Indian Navy, doing away with the Victorian cross from that flag that Indian Navy has. Please tell us the importance of this, the significance of this as you understand it.
We have a very senior Navy veteran on our panel, Abhishek, and I would request, because this pertains to the Indian Navy and the flag or the Nishan of any force is the pride of that force. And while we're all equally proud of the Navy, I can never hope to match the emotion and match the sheer love for that for the Navy flag. I would request that this question be posed to our senior naval veteran, Abhishek.
Good idea. Good idea. I'll take that to Commander Vadra then. Commander Vadra, the Prime Minister would actually be unveiling the new ensign of Indian Navy as well. I mean, just your thoughts on that. There is a certain history which goes with the Nishan, but then the indigenization is going into that emblem as well. So what do you think about that?
You see, like what Major Gaurav Arya has said, it is time we, shred the colonial past. I think 75 years of independence, we should, it's high time. It's high time that we get out of those British era, even rules, regulations, and their legacy, etc. We are now a nation, a proud nation, which is respected all over the world. They seek our advice on various matters. Yes. We are the one who took lead in the COVID vaccination. I'm saying our leadership is respected, and his views are sought after all the world countries. We are a force to reckon with. So very right step, correct step, at the right direction, at the right time. on the commissioning of Vikrant today, that we have done away with the, colonial past and got rid of that St. George Cross and got our own design. Also, we feel, my chest swells with pride that today I am speaking to that Republic TV because I was part of INS Vikrant after passing out from National Defence Academy. Old Vikrant was my first ship as a midshipman, the junior most officer. We spent 6 months, so we are very emotionally attached to it. And getting a new ensign, our own design by our own people. Being hosted on board Vikrant today at the time of colors, it is a matter of great pride and a step in right direction. Indigenization should be our motto. From now onwards, we should just march ahead. We should be in the near future, building warships, the aircraft carriers, submarines for the world navies. They should seek our assistance. It should carry on with this. We have built up a momentum. We should continue with the momentum. This particular ensign was first done away with Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the then Prime Minister, in 2001. But for reasons best known, in 2004, the then Congress government reversed the decision and brought back the British colonial pass ensign. Thereafter, nobody ever thought about it or never had the guts to, bring about this change. And I am happy that we have a strong leadership which can take decision at the right time. We should do away with the past and just march ahead and show to the world that we are a force to reckon with.
Oh, absolutely. A very important point that you make, that there has to be political will. Remember, Prime Minister in his Independence Day address from the Red Fort mentioned how giving up colonial mindset has to be one of the 5 major resolves as we move towards India's 100 years of independence from here on. Also, of course, many other similar changes that the Prime Minister has brought in. Major Arya, we remember how changes have been brought in the beating the retreat ceremony, bringing in Indian instruments like sitar and santoor, or for that matter, doing away with Abide by Me.
गार्ड ऑफ ऑनर दिया जा रहा है। इससे पहले तमाम जो बड़े वरिष्ठ की जानकारी हासिल करते हुए
The commissioning ceremony, viewers, is an age-old naval tradition that celebrates the formal induction of a warship into naval service, wherein the commanding officer receives the commissioning warrant from the Chief of the Naval Staff, directing him to commission the ship.
प्रधानमंत्री तमाम जो HODs हैं उनसे मुलाकात करते हुए, क्योंकि अगर INS विक्रांत की बात की जाए तो अपने आप में समंदर में चलता फिरता अपने आप में एक शहर के बराबर है, चलता फिरता एक हवाई अड्डे के बराबर, और ऐसे में तमाम विभाग होते हैं जो मिलकर इस पूरे युद्धपोत को एक कंप्लीट युद्धपोत बनाते हैं। और ऐसे में तमाम विभागों के जो प्रमुख हैं, जिन्होंने दिन रात एक मेहनत करके इस युद्धपोत को भारत की नौसेना को समर्पित करने के दिन को साकार किया है, उन तमाम लोगों से मिलते हुए, जानकारी हासिल करते हुए, और तमाम HODs हैं, डिपार्टमेंट्स के जो हेड्स हैं, वो प्रधानमंत्री को सैल्यूट देते हुए। और ये अपने आप में बताता है कि किस तरीके से प्रधानमंत्री का यहाँ आना इन सभी के लिए एक गौरव की बात है और नौसेना के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा दिन।
Captains of top and heads of department, various respective departments, welcoming and saluting Honorable Prime Minister of India. Viewers, live visuals of this grand ceremony from Cochin is something that will be symbolized by the hosting of the commissioning pennant, flown from the highest point of the ship, the visual that will remain etched in India's history. And
ये तस्वीरें अपने आप में ऐतिहासिक पल की गवाह, जब कोचिन शिपयार्ड पर देश का पहला स्वदेशी विमान वाहक पोत INS विक्रांत तैयार हो चुका है, देश की नौसेना की सेवा करने के लिए, देश के रक्षा करने के लिए तत्पर है। और ऐसे में आप प्रधानमंत्री को गार्ड ऑफ ऑनर देने के लिए विशेष इंतजाम, और 100 नौवीर यहाँ मौजूद हैं और उनकी कमांड ले रहे हैं लेफ्टिनेंट कमांडर रितेश शर्मा, लेफ्टिनेंट कमांडर शशांक यादव।
officer of the guard giving general salute to Honorable Prime Minister. Men Guard of Honor marching in with the Indian Naval Band and leads playing the tunes of Vikrant.
और तस्वीरें गवाह हैं किस प्रकार से आज के इस ऐतिहासिक कमिश्निंग सेरेमनी के समय प्रधानमंत्री गार्ड ऑफ ऑनर का निरीक्षण करने जाते हुए, अगर हम परंपरा के तौर पे बात करें सकल, तो अपने आप में 100 सेलर्स यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं और ये 100 सेलर्स का दस्ता सम्मान गार्ड के रूप में जहाँ पे प्रधानमंत्री को गार्ड ऑफ ऑनर दिया और प्रधानमंत्री इसका अब निरीक्षण करेंगे। तीनों सेनाओं के सुप्रीम कमांडर के तौर पर अगर राष्ट्रपति की बात की जाए तो उनको 150 सेना के दस्ते का गार्ड ऑफ ऑनर दिया जाता है। प्रोटोकॉल के मुताबिक अगर बात की जाए तो प्रधानमंत्री को 100 सैनिकों का दस्ता है वो गार्ड ऑफ ऑनर देता है और इस समय प्रधानमंत्री इस गार्ड ऑफ ऑनर के समय निरीक्षण करते हुए, और ये अपने आप में बताता है किस प्रकार से तमाम परंपराओं का निर्वहन किया जा रहा है। और ये अपने आप में बहुत ही ऐतिहासिक लम्हा और बहुत ही एक भावपूर्ण क्षण होता है कि जब देश का कोई इतना प्रतिष्ठित पद पे बैठा हुआ व्यक्ति आपके बीच आता है और आपके बीच में पहुंच के इस बड़े दिन को, एक और ऐतिहासिक दिन को और महत्वपूर्ण बनाने के लिए मौजूद है। निश्चित तौर से देश का पहला स्वदेशी विमान वाहक पोत INS विक्रांत कोचीन शिपयार्ड में बनकर तैयार हुआ है और ये आज कमिश्निंग सेरेमनी, अगर इसकी बात की जाए तो रक्षा क्षेत्र में भारत कैसे आत्मनिर्भर हुआ है उसकी एक जीती जागती मिसाल है और अपने आप में भारत की बढ़ती रक्षा क्षमताओं का साफ तौर से प्रदर्शन करता है। और अगर बात की जाए तो भारत अब 6 ऐसे एलीट देशों के ग्रुप में शामिल हो गया है जो 40,000 टन या उससे बड़े भारी एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर बनाने में सक्षम है। और प्रधानमंत्री तमाम लोगों का अभिवादन स्वीकार करते हुए
The motto of the ship, Jayam Sam Yuddhi Spradaha, which means, and I quote, I defeat those who dare to fight against me, unquote. Something that truly epitomizes the size and spirit of the ship. Overwhelming audience there. The same spirit that is personified through the glaring eyes of our men on parade, our men in uniform that you see right on your screens, immaculately dressed and brimming with the josh, the passion for the nation.
बिल्कुल, तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट ये बताती है कि इस जोश के साथ प्रधानमंत्री मोदी का इस्तकबाल किया गया है और प्रधानमंत्री मुख्य मंच पर पहुंच चुके हैं जहां पर रक्षा मंत्री केरल के राज्यपाल भी मौजूद हैं।
देवियों और सज्जनों, कितना बड़ा दिन है हमारे देश के लिए। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की आज्ञा और आशीर्वाद के साथ एक छोटा सा विशेष विचार आपके सामने प्रस्तुत करता हूं। सपने वो नहीं होते जो सोते समय आते हैं। सपने वो नहीं होते जो सोते समय आते हैं। सपने वो होते हैं जो हमारी नींद उड़ा देते हैं। कितना सौभाग्य है हमारा कि आज आत्मनिर्भर भारत की सर्वश्रेष्ठ उपलब्धि, आजाद भारत का सुनहरा सपना आज हमारे सामने साकार हो रहा है। INS विक्रांत के वीर नौसैनिक, भारतीय नौसेना के पूर्व सैनिक वेटरन्स, कोचिन शिपयार्ड के मेहनती वर्कर्स, सभी डिजाइनर्स, इंजीनियर्स और इंडस्ट्रीज, आप सभी के लिए एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाएं। I now request the Chairman and Managing Director of Cochin Shipyard Shri Madhu Shankunni Nair to kindly give the welcome address.
Good morning and namaste. In a short while, our Honorable Prime Minister will be commissioning the nation's first indigenous aircraft carrier. This warship is a true representation of what we as a nation can accomplish when varied stakeholders come together under a shared vision and work towards a national goal. This majestic warship has been conceived, engineered, and implemented at a scale and size never before attempted in the country, and has been realized thanks to the efforts of the Indian Navy, Cochin Shipyard, DRDO, OEMs, and other stakeholders. This vessel underlines the depth of the shipbuilding capabilities of Cochin Shipyard Limited, passion and commitment of its engineers, professionals, and workers. This project, with 76% Indian content, also brings to the fore the significant industrial prowess of our country and is a major step in our quest towards a truly Atmanirbhar Bharat. Our Prime Minister has led from the front and has inspired the entire nation to believe in ourselves and set high targets. Sir, with confidence, we can assure you that IAC is a prime example that the country can set high targets and achieve them. Ultimately, the IAC is all about Team India. On behalf of the entire Team IAC, it is my proud privilege to welcome Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, to Cochin Shipyard for commissioning IAC Vikrant. I welcome Governor of Kerala, Shri Arif Muhammad Khan, Chief Minister of Kerala, Shri Pinarayi Vijayan, Honorable Raksha Mandri, Shri Rajnath Singh, Honorable Minister for Port, Shipping and Waterways, Shri Sarbananda Sonowal, and National Security Advisor, Shri Ajit Doval, to this function. I welcome Raksha Rajya Mandri, Shri Ajay Bhatt, and Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral Hari Kumar, to this function. I welcome the elected people's representatives, flag officers, diplomats, senior officials from the government, the nation's most respected military veterans, and all other invited dignitaries to this function. I express CSL's gratitude to the Indian Navy, the Ministry of Defense, and the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways for entrusting CSL with the construction of India's first indigenous aircraft carrier. I wish good luck and God's grace at all times to this majestic vessel and all the men and women who sail in her. Namaste, Jai Hind.
I now request the Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral R. Hari Kumar, to kindly address the audience.
Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, Chief guest this morning for this momentous occasion, senior dignitaries on the dais, Excellencies, senior dignitaries in the audience, former chiefs of the Navy, Commander-in-Chiefs, flag officers, esteemed veterans, veterans of the erstwhile INS Vikrant, distinguished guests, employees of CSL, commissioning crew of Vikrant, ladies and gentlemen, नमस्कार। आज भारत में बनाए गए अब तक के सबसे बड़े वारशिप को कमिश्निंग करने के लिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का यहाँ उपस्थित होना हम सब के लिए बहुत गर्व और सम्मान की बात है। ये कमीशनिंग पूरे देश के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण अचीवमेंट है। As the flag bearer of Indian Navy's unwavering commitment to Honorable Pradhan Mantri Ji's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, it is only befitting that Vikrant be commissioned under his hand as we move proudly into the Amrit Kal. आज़ादी के इस अमृत काल में भारतीय नौसेना का विजन एट 100 है एक फुल्ली आत्मनिर्भर नेवी बनना, जिसके अंतर्गत हमारी सभी शिप्स, सबमरीन्स, एयरक्राफ्ट, अनमैन्ड वेसल्स एंड सिस्टम्स कंप्लीटली मेड इन इंडिया होंगे, ताकि हम एक कॉम्बैट रेडी, क्रेडिबल, कोहेसिव और फ्यूचर प्रूफ फोर्स बने रहें। इस संदर्भ में भारतीय नौसेना माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी द्वारा उद्घोषित 5 प्रण विकसित भारत, गुलामी की मानसिकता से मुक्ति, हमारी विरासत पर गर्व, एकता और एकजुटता एवं कर्तव्य की भावना के द्वारा इस रास्ते पर अग्रसर रहेगी। न सिर्फ भारतीय नौसेना बल्कि संपूर्ण भारतवर्ष के लिए विक्रांत इस अमृत काल का एक अभूतपूर्व आरंभ है। और इस शुरुआत के लिए मैं सीएमडी सीएसएल, डायरेक्टर जनरल वॉरशिप डिजाइन ब्यूरो, वॉरशिप प्रोडक्शन सुपरिंट और उनकी टीम्स का अभिवादन करता हूं। हमारे देश का पहला एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर एरस्टवाइल विक्रांत served the country for 36 glorious years and played a significant role in the 1971 war, striking fear into the enemy's heart. आज मैं इस आधुनिक और शक्तिशाली विक्रांत के कमांडिंग ऑफिसर और क्रू को ये कहना चाहूँगा कि आप सबका कर्तव्य रहेगा कि इस महान लीगेसी को और निष्ठा एंड डिवोशन के साथ आगे बढ़ाएं। May all who sail on Vikrant be guided by our core values, duty, honor, courage, and serve with selfless devotion. मैं सभी डिग्निटरीज और गेस्ट को आज इस इम्पोर्टेंट दिवस पर यहाँ उपस्थित होने के लिए अपना आभार व्यक्त करना चाहूँगा and I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Honorable प्रधानमंत्री जी, जिनका प्रेजेंस विक्रांत के क्रू को इंस्पायर करेगा to do their duty and do it well every day, everywhere and every time. Shano Varan, Jai Hind.
देवियों और सज्जनों, आज इस शुभ अवसर पर माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के कर कमलों द्वारा नौसेना के नए निशान का अनावरण किया जाएगा। इस निशान में किए गए बदलाव, नए निशान में अंकित अष्टकोण छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की नौसेना के युद्ध चिन्ह से लिया गया है, जिसे भारतीय नौसेना ने पुनः अपनाकर अपने देश की महान संस्कृति और संपदा को एक बार फिर उजागर किया है। मैं अब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी से अनुरोध करता हूं, श्रीमान कृपया अपने कर कमलों द्वारा भारतीय नौसेना के नए निशान का अनावरण करें। नौसेना का नया निशान देखा तो दिल की धड़कन ही रुक गई। एक बार जोरदार जानदार तालियों के साथ अपनी भावनाओं को व्यक्त कीजिए। और आइए अब भारतीय नौसेना के नए निशान पर एक छोटी सी फिल्म देखें।
From a small harbor police outfit at the beginning of the 17th century to one of the world's finest naval forces of the 21st century, the Indian Navy has come a long way. It is the proud custodian of a rich maritime legacy, and for years, the rank and file of the Navy has dreamt of a change in its ensign that would honor its civilizational heritage. Over the years, India's naval ensign has undergone several changes and transformed on many occasions, shedding the last remnants of the colonial past. On 2nd September 2022, the Indian Navy adopts its new naval ensign. With the national flag on the upper canton and a blue octagonal shape encompassing the national emblem sitting atop an anchor depicting steadfastness and superimposed on a shield with the Navy's motto, Sham No Varuna in Devanagari. The octagonal shape represents the 8 directions, symbolizing the Indian Navy's multi-directional reach and multi-dimensional operational capability. The octagonal shape with twin golden borders draws inspiration from the seal of the great Indian Emperor, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, whose visionary maritime outlook established a credible naval fleet consisting of 60 fighting ships and approximately 5,000 men. The rising Maratha naval power during Shivaji Maharaj's period was the first to secure the coastline against external aggression.
गुलामी की छोटी सी छोटी चीज भी कहीं नजर आती है, हमारे भीतर नजर आती है, हमारे आसपास नजर आती है, हमें उससे मुक्ति पानी ही होगी.
As India marks the 75th year of its independence, the new naval ensign is a step towards liberating the mind and further empowering the indomitable spirit of the sentinels of our seas, the Indian Navy.
अब मैं निवेदन करता हूं माननीय रक्षा मंत्री श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी से, श्रीमान कृपया सभा को संबोधित करें।
भारत के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी, ऑनरेबल गवर्नर केरला श्री आरिफ मोहम्मद खान, ऑनरेबल चीफ मिनिस्टर केरला श्री पिनराई विजयन, मिनिस्टर ऑफ पोर्ट्स, शिपिंग एंड वाटरवेज श्री सर्बानंद जी सोनोवाल, नेशनल सिक्योरिटी एडवाइजर श्री अजीत डोभाल, माननीय रक्षा राज्य मंत्री श्री अजय भट्ट, श्री राजीव चंद्रशेखर एमएस फॉर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, एडमिरल आर हरिकुमार, चीफ ऑफ नेवल स्टाफ श्री मधु एस नायर, CMD CSL, यहाँ मौजूद अन्य गणमान्य अतिथिगण, मीडिया के मेरे साथियों, देवियों व सज्जनों, आज इंडियन नेवल शिप विक्रांत की कमीशनिंग के ऐतिहासिक अवसर पर माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का हम सबके बीच होना हम सभी के लिए एक प्रसन्नता का प्रसंग है। अपने बिजी शेड्यूल में से समय निकालकर आपने यहाँ अपनी गरिमामयी उपस्थिति प्रदान की है। मैं आपका हार्दिक स्वागत और अभिनंदन करता हूँ। अमृतकाल के प्रारंभ में INS विक्रांत की कमीशनिंग अगले 25 वर्षों में राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा के हमारे मजबूत संकल्प को दोहराती है। INS विक्रांत एक एस्पिरेशनल और सेल्फ रिलायंट इंडिया का एक एक्सेप्शनल सिंबल है। यह एक आइकन है राष्ट्र के गौरव का, राष्ट्र की शक्ति का और राष्ट्र के संकल्प का। इसकी कमीशनिंग इंडिजिनस वारशिप और कंस्ट्रक्शन की राह में एक अनप्रेसिडेंटेड अचीवमेंट है। जैसा कि आप सभी नेवी के ट्रेडिशन से अच्छी तरह अवगत हैं, ओल्ड शिप्स नेवर डाई, 1971 के युद्ध में अपनी शानदार भूमिका निभाने वाले विक्रांत का यह नया अवतार अमृतकाल की उपलब्धि के साथ साथ हमारे फ्रीडम फाइटर्स और ब्रेव सोल्जर्स को भी एक विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि है। साथियों, बदलते समय और परिस्थितियों के अनुसार अनइंटरप्टेड मैरीटाइम ट्रेड के संचालन के लिए भारत के मैरीटाइम इंटरेस्ट को सिक्योर रखना इंडियन नेवी की सिग्निफिकेंट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि इस जिम्मेदारी के एग्जीक्यूशन के लिए एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर से बेहतर माध्यम और कुछ नहीं हो सकता है। भारतीय नौसेना नेशनल अथवा इंटरनेशनल लेवल क्राइसिस में फर्स्ट रेस्पॉन्डर के रूप में हमेशा तैयार रहती है। आईएनएस विक्रांत की कमीशनिंग से नौसेना की कैपेबिलिटी में और अधिक वृद्धि होगी। मित्रों, आईएनएस विक्रांत की कमीशनिंग इस बात की पुष्टि है कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत का हमारा प्रयास कोई आइसोलेटेड पॉलिसी नहीं है। यह माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में भारत में हो रहे विशाल ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव चेंजेस का एक महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा है। इस विशाल लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करने के लिए सरकार ने हेल्थ, एजुकेशन, एग्रीकल्चर, ट्रेड, ट्रांसपोर्ट, कम्युनिकेशन आदि समस्त क्षेत्रों में पाथ ब्रेकिंग चेंजेस किए हैं। डिफेंस सेक्टर की बात करें तो सरकार ने डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन पॉलिसी एंड एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोशन पॉलिसी में सुधार किए हैं। डिफेंस सेक्टर में एफडीआई की लिमिट को बढ़ाया है और डिफेंस इंडस्ट्रियल कॉरिडोर्स डेवलप करने जैसे महत्वपूर्ण प्रयास किए हैं। इसके साथ इस वर्ष कैपिटल एक्विजिशन बजट का 68% यानी लगभग 85,000 करोड़ रुपए डोमेस्टिक इंडस्ट्री के लिए निर्धारित किया जाना, आर्म फोर्सेस और डीपीएसयू द्वारा इंपोर्ट्स को मिनिमाइज करने के लिए 3 पॉजिटिव इंडिजनाइजेशन लिस्ट जारी किया जाना भी डिफेंस सेक्टर में आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर उठाए गए ये हमारे महत्वपूर्ण कदम हैं। हमारा मिशन केवल मेक इन इंडिया ही नहीं बल्कि मेक फॉर द वर्ल्ड है। यह है पिछले वर्ष में हुए $400 बिलियन से अधिक के एक्सपोर्ट इसके प्रमाण हैं। हम जैसे जैसे $5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी की ओर तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, आने वाले समय में ग्लोबल ट्रेड में हमारा शेयर बढ़ेगा। ग्लोबल ट्रेड में शेयर बढ़ेगा तो इसका एक बड़ा हिस्सा अनिवार्य रूप से मैरीटाइम रूट से होगा। ऐसे में हमारी सिक्योरिटी हो अथवा इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट, दोनों ही दृष्टियों से यह आईएनएस विक्रांत हमारे लिए अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण साबित होगा, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है। मित्रों, हमारे फ्रेंडली फॉरेन कंट्रीज के लिए यह कमीशनिंग एक आश्वासन भी है कि हम हमारी कलेक्टिव सिक्योरिटी की ज़रूरतों को पूरा करने में पूरी तरह से सक्षम हैं। हम एक फ्री, ओपन एंड इंक्लूसिव इंडो पैसिफिक में विश्वास रखते हैं। इस संबंध में हमारे प्रयास माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के विजन सागर यानी सिक्योरिटी एंड ग्रोथ फॉर ऑल इन द रीजन से गाइडेड है। इस ऐतिहासिक अवसर पर मैं इंडियन नेवी और कोचिन शिपयार्ड लिमिटेड के कोलैबोरेटिव एफर्ट्स की सराहना करता हूं। साथ ही महत्वपूर्ण प्रोजेक्ट से जुड़े समस्त कर्मयोगियों की भी मैं प्रशंसा करता हूं। चीफ ऑफ द नेवल स्टाफ एडमिरल आर हरिकुमार और उनकी पूरी टीम की विक्रांत की कमीशनिंग में फोकस्ड एफर्ट्स के लिए मैं सराहना करता हूं। मैं पुनः माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के प्रति अपना आभार व्यक्त करता हूं, जिनकी लीडरशिप और डायरेक्शन के चलते आज हम इस मुकाम पर पहुंचे हैं। हम भविष्य में निरंतर आपके गाइडेंस की आशा करते हैं। मैं आईएनएस विक्रांत के कैप्टन और क्रू के भविष्य के प्रयासों में सफलता की कामना करता हूं। ईश्वर आपको हर परिस्थितियों में अजेय रखें। शं नो वरुणः मे द लॉर्ड ऑफ द वाटर बी ऑस्पिशियस अनटू अस की कामना के साथ मैं अपना निवेदन समाप्त करता हूं। लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु, वलरे नन्नी, जय हिंद।
The journey from a dream to deliverance culminates today, right here, right now, in front of us. How fortunate are we to be present here to witness a golden moment for our nation. INS Vikrant is a testimony to the passion and vision of our Navy veterans, a testimony to the relentless pursuit of excellence by our warship designers, a testimony to the years of dedication and shipbuilding expertise of Cochin Shipyard, and a crowning achievement of Indian industry and MSMEs. देवियों और सज्जनों, आधुनिकीकरण और स्वदेशीकरण के मार्ग पर चलते हुए भारतीय नौसेना ने आज एक नए मुकाम को हासिल किया है। भारत सरकार के मेक इन इंडिया और आत्मनिर्भर भारत की नीतियों पर आधारित विकास की नींव अब